Magpio called the team's worst fight of the season. To win this one, they'll need to land a knockout punch. The Wildcats sit 3-2, fresh off a bye. Before that, their best win of the year, away at GW. With a bye looming, Fordham hopes to follow the same formula, to take a win into a weekend off and to reestablish itself as a conference competitor. It's an A10 Wednesday. It's Fordham and Davidson, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Live from the campus of Davidson College in sunny North Carolina, it's Atlantic 10 men's basketball, where the 10-9 Fordham Rams and the 11-6 Davidson Wildcats are getting set for a 7 p.m. tip here at John M. Belk Arena. Joe Henry alongside my partner Chris Carrino for what's lining up to be a big one. Chris, for a Fordham team now 1-5 in conference play and coming off maybe its worst offensive performance of the season, it feels like a must-win game against a really solid opponent.
Yeah, Joe, easily the Fordham's biggest win and biggest moment of the season was their road win against St. Bonaventure. Since then, two really disappointing outings in the conference. They'd love to get back on track here in North Carolina.
Rams and Wildcats for a 23rd time in series history. Two of mid-major basketball's most storied programs tip just moments away. To get you set for the matchup, we caught up with Fordham head coach Mike Magpio pregame. Take a listen in. Coach, you called Saturday the team's worst fight of the season. What have you seen in the 3 days since then to prepare them for this one?
Yeah, we had some competitive practices. It was good to be healthy and have enough guys that we could go against each other a little bit. So there's some fight, you know what I mean? I think that the bottom line is we got to put it on the court tonight at 7 p.m. Against a team that's hot right now, and they did the same thing. They responded to a tough loss versus Rhode Island in Davidson, and they responded with a big-time effort against George Washington, and I'm fully looking forward to seeing our guys respond tonight.
And Coach, Christian Henry, your guard, has had ebbs and flows this season. When he's good, he's one of the best guards in this conference. How important is he to your unit and your unit's success?
Yeah, you know, we really, one of the three pillars is take care of the ball, and that he's just got to make sure that he does that tonight. That really got us behind the 8 ball last game. His turnovers, but you know what? It's not just him. Everybody else has got to get to the correct spacing and help him out. You know, it can't just be one guy, whether it's Day, whether it's Christian, whether it's Rikus or whoever it is. It's really got to be a collective team effort, and that's when we're talking about fight. I just want to see a united front and all the guys fighting together, sprinting across the finish line together.
You mentioned spacing. Big storyline today is going to be the three-point shooting on either side. You guys have really struggled from beyond the arc recently. This Davidson team has been lights out all year from distance. When you look at it on both sides of the ball, what are some of the keys to the game for you guys to get open looks and also to shut them down?
Yeah, I think we'll get open looks. We got to put them in, you know, and then we'll be pounding the paint. You know, I think that's going to continue to be a focus of ours. We got to stick with it, make sure that we're getting the ball inside and utilizing our size and you know, figuring out ways to penetrate with Christian, Day, and the perimeter guys. But you know, on the flip side, it's like you have to take away the 3-point shot. If we're going to be pounding the paint, looking for fouls and looking for 2-pointers, we cannot let them get hot from 3. Easier said than done. They move fast. It's an offense that I've known very well playing against them when I coached at Campbell and just, you know, watching them over the years. It's beautiful. You know, they screen, they play for each other, they work to get each other open, they cut for each other, and they play fast, not so much just like in a fast break sense. They do push the ball, but just in like the decision making. That's just like the ball is popping from one side to the next, and we have to be alert. And the whole goal will be to disrupt their rhythm of that beautiful offense.
And Coach, your forward in the front court, Rikus Schulte, returning now to Davidson, spent his career there before joining you on the West Coast. Can you just talk about, obviously he has something to prove tonight, but can you talk about how different of a player he is from his time joining Davidson and now, and just the evolution he's had to get to the player he is today?
Yeah, what incredible growth to see Rikus just come along like this over the year and a half now that we've had him. And I think that, man, if the guys want purpose tonight, I mean, that's great purpose. Let's make sure that we're surrounding Rikus and we're there with our brother and fighting with him every step of the way. And I know I am, and I'm excited for him, but I definitely want to make sure that he has a great effort, but we have a great effort around him as a team.
Coach, thank you so much. Joe Henry, Chris Carrino back at Davidson. Well, you heard it from Coach Mike Magpio, Chris. A lot to key in on tonight, but it feels like this game will be decided by what happens behind the three-point line.
Yeah, the three-point line, the biggest factor on both sides. Obviously, this Davidson team has done a really good job of shooting the three ball this year. Their coach found it to be one of their struggles last season, really focused on it on the offseason and the transfer portal, found some shooters, and now that three-point percentage has gone up to almost around 40% as a team. This Davidson team uses the three-point line as one of their biggest weapons offensively. Can't say the same on the other side for Fordham. Fordham shooting 28% from three this season. That's 11th worst in D1. Nobody is shooting higher than 32% from three this season with more than 40 attempts. Akira Jacobs seems a little more comfortable in that three-point role. Roar Core, the freshman who's out, really seems like this team could use his prowess from the three-point line. But really, Joe, it rests on Christian Henry and Day Reeves, the guards for this team. If they can shoot the ball efficiently and they can lead this team as almost quarterbacks, as Coach Magpayo says, this Fordham team's going to really put themselves in a place to succeed.
And Fordham's going to need to be lights out. Well, lights off at Belk Arena. Lineups being announced for Fordham. Updates on the injury front of Boss Bodija, who made his A10 debut last time out in Fordham 74-63 loss to Duquesne back on Saturday. Is healthy for a second game in a row. Roar Core, though, as you mentioned, still rehabbing that ankle injury. Will miss his 6th straight today. Ryan Pettis concussed, set to miss his 14th in a row. So a Fordham team that has played shorthanded all of A10 play, inching closer to full health, but still without a couple key pieces. The resulting 5 for Fordham. The A10's leading scorer in Day Reeves is backcourt mate Chris Henry, who has struggled since returning from a concussion. Akira Jacobs, the 6'10 forward, has been Fordham's best shooter of late. He gets the nod at the three. The guy to circle today, junior Rika Schulte, we mentioned it, starting his 20th straight game. He spent his freshman year here at Davidson and has made it clear he wants to show them what they are missing out on now in his junior season. His front court pairing, Jack Whitbourne, 29 rebounds in his last 2 contests. He will man the 5. Chris, a lot to prove for a few of these guys in the Fordham starting lineup.
Yeah, Joe, I love the Rika Schulte story specifically. Rika Schulte, not a guy who's super pronounced, super animated throughout the season, but as you said, had that quote coming in last week talking about how much this game meant to him, and we mentioned it, even talking to him preseason when we did our preseason interviews, we slightly mentioned, what's it like to play in the A10 again? And he said to us, he's ready to make a statement. It didn't seem like this Davidson team had Rika Schulte in their future plans. Rika Schulte seems to have taken that personally. He went, of course, to the West Coast to join Coach Mike Magpayo, and since buying in to what Coach Mike Magpayo has been preaching to him, he has become a completely different player this year, possibly his breakout season.
Yeah, Schulte, the lone guy that will play for Fordham today that has seen A10 action before. You can't see the same for the Davidson side, a team that retains a lot of pieces and a team that runs an 11-man rotation and pretty much has a new guy step up, it feels like, every game. Their first 5 for tonight will start with Sam Brown. The UPenn transfer runs the point. He missed his last 2 games, but is back today. A big piece returning for the Wildcats is joined by Parker Fredrickson, the sharpshooting junior, reigning A10 player of the week, rather A10 rookie of the week in Devin Brown at the 3, Army transfer Josh Scovins at the 4, and the 7-foot center Ian Plateo down low. Chris, a Davidson team that can get it done up and down the lineup, not just in the starting 5, but they have a leading scorer coming off the bench in Roberts Blooms, as we touched upon, the three-point shooting key. But as Mike Magpayo talked about, just a beautiful and rhythmic offense that breaks teams down.
Yeah, Joe, when Coach Magpayo was talking about the identity of this Davidson team, to me it matched the identity of their most famous alma mater, Stephen Curry. A kind of a scrappy, fast, and of course three-point shooting offense. As you said, their leading scorer coming off the bench. No one who really jumps off the stat sheet from a points per game perspective. Both those things are also true about Fordham's last opponent, Duquesne. We'll see if Fordham can use that experience they gained in their last one into this one. Obviously, as you said, guarding the three-point line and making shots on the three-point line could be the difference in this game.
Getting set for tip, Fordham in its road maroons, Davidson in its home whites.
Good jersey game.
It's
Fantastic.
The 6'11 Jack Whitbourne, the 7-foot Ian Plateo to tip us off, and we are underway. Tip 1 by Fordham, retrieved by Day Reeves into the hands of Chris Henry, and the Rams will have first possession, moving left to right. Henry calling the shots. Bounce pass inside to Whitbourne. Deterred at the right wing. Whitbourne moves it left, finds a cutting Day Reeves. Reeves back to the left wing, Henry. Now Schulte gets his first touch against his former team. Reeves, top of the key, 7 seconds to work, looking for cutters. Kicks it right side, Jacobs. Bounce pass into Whitbourne, looses the ball, picked up by Scovins. A poor first possession for Fordham.
A lot happening there, not a lot productively.
Sam Brown gets his first touch, missed the past week of play with an injury, back in the lineup for the Wildcats, their leading assist man. The 7-footer Plateo gets a touch top of the key, working two-man game with Fredrickson, looking for answers now. Dribble handoff, Brown. Brown kicks it left wing, Scovins thinks about a three, now going to dribble drive inside, little 10-foot hook shot is good over Rika Schulte to get the scoring started.
That's a nice piece of touch from Scovins. Rika Schulte has to guard multiple places there, can't be slow inside, has to stay right on the body of the offensive player.
2-0 Davidson early on, 18:50 to go. Whitbourne nearly threw the ball away. Henry's able to recover, gets it to Whitbourne, but it's an over and back violation as Henry's save goes into the full court. It was a miscommunication in which Whitbourne looked for Day-Day Reeves on the right wing, but Reeves had started to cut already. The ball just carried him towards the sideline, and Henry was unable to save it in time.
Yeah, a bad example of miscommunication between two Fordham players, but I like the hustle from Christian Henry trying to make nothing into at least kind of something.
2 possessions, 2 turnovers for Fordham. 2 points for Davidson on its first possession. Here's its second. Sam Brown swivels a pass inside, picked off by Jacobs. Fordham gets one right back. Henry on the right wing, two-man game with Whitbourne. Finds him right side, low block. Kick out Jacobs, top of the key. Now Reeves on the left side. Reeves, double team, loses the ball, hits the Coach McCullough, and they're going to call it out of bounds.
Coach McCullough animated. Similar to our experience with NJIT earlier this season. It's like a head coach is double-teaming you from the sideline almost.
Head coach Matt McCullough in his 4th season had the ball hit off of him as Reeves lost it on the left wing dealing with a double team. So 3 possessions, 3 turnovers for a Fordham team that's coming off its worst offensive performance of the year. An inauspicious start. Looking for a stop here. Davidson moving it right to left. Plateo top of the key. Looks for cutters. Loops a pass inside towards the baseline. Caught by Fredrickson. Back out to Scovins left wing. Now Brown right wing. He'll pull the trigger on a 3 and missed it long. Rebound Schulte. Fordham the other way. Still scoreless. 18:05 left to go. 2-0 Davidson.
Davidson has started slow. Fordham needs to take advantage of it. They haven't been able to do that much this season.
Jacobs top of the key, double team, kicks out Whitbourne wide open, 3 is good! Jack Whitbourne gets the scoring started with his 2nd triple of the year.
No matter who it is on the floor, if you're that open, you just gotta knock it down.
3-2 Fordham. Sam Brown the other way at the nail, kicks it left side, Fredrickson. First touch for the rookie Devin Brown. Finds Sam Brown, no relation, on the left wing, kicks inside Plateo. Over the shoulder pass Scovins. Now back to Brown. Right corner 3. This one's good from Brown.
It looked like he was itching to get one to go. Finally, Davidson gets on the scoreboard again. It seemed like they were going to be stuck at 2 for a while.
Again, a Davidson team that takes a lot of threes. Over 43% of their shot attempts are from distance. They have the lead back 5-3 now. Reeves spinning inside, middle of the floor, hits on the 10-foot fadeaway. Knotted up at 5. 17 minutes to go in the opening period. Josh Scovins working inside on Schulte, loses his dribble, right side, low block, looking towards the hoop, and he traveled.
And that might be what some would call an unforced error, but Rika Schulte's tenacious defense, I believe, led to that travel.
And Rory, the Wildcat, Davidson's mascot, looking solemn after that turnover.
Back to the Devin Brown 3 earlier. I said he was itching to make a shot, has been out of their last 2, possibly their best player offensively, probably definitely their best offensive weapon. They're happy to have him back. We'll see if there's any metaphorical ring rust, Joe.
Yeah, Davidson team that gets it scoring from a lot of different players, but it all starts with Sam Brown. Right wing Chris Henry for Fordham, tied up at 5, 16:43 to go, opening period. Slow start, both of these sides. Reeves is turned over. Picked off in the passing lane.
Already multiple turnovers for the Fordham offense. They have to limit them. Coach Magpio said so.
Devin Brown the other way. Bounce pass inside. Ripped away by Whitbourne. It's a turnover fest here in Davidson. 4 for Fordham and 2. Make it 3 for Davidson.
Great job from the big boys of Fordham there.
Henry, right elbow. Kicks it left side, Jacobs. Back to Henry, left side corner, guarded well by Fredrickson. He's going to drive the baseline, draws a foul, stumbles out of bounds, nearly runs into our guy Joe DeBari, sitting crisscross applesauce on the baseline. It will stay with Fordham.
I think Christian is aware enough of Joe DeBari not to run him over necessarily, but Joe was in a bit of a danger zone there. Like the mentality from Christian Henry there, if not driving, but also keeping his head up. More options this Fordham offense has, the better they'll be.
Henry coming off maybe his worst game of the year, had 6 turnovers to tie a career high.
Yeah, he'd love to make up for that here tonight.
Triggers an inbounds play from the baseline to Jacobs, Whitbourne, and now Reeves on the right wing. Back to Henry, 13 on the shot clock. Step back, 16-foot, 2 from the left side is no good. Swirls out, rebound, fought for, and touched last by Rika Schulte, who's running back in the full court and simultaneously asking for a review.
And Joe, the shot didn't go in for Christian Henry, but I really liked the play. He didn't force anything. He had a really deep three. He was open. He didn't take it, put the ball on the floor, found a shot, created a shot for himself. The shot may have not gone in, but it seems the game is coming to Christian Henry instead of him necessarily trying to go out and get it.
5-5, Fordham and Davidson knotted up with 15:27 to go in the opening half. Here's a three-point try, no good, from Nick Koval coming off the bench, top of the key, missed it. Fordham the other way, Dede Reeves finds Bodija inside. Abbas Bodija, the redshirt freshman, checked into the game, streaking the right side of the floor. Hits on a hook shot, but is called, rather a foul goes against Davidson on the shot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
so
push.
Bodija is going to get 2 shots at the stripe. Love to see the aggression from the redshirt freshman on his first touch of the game.
Abbas has been so good, especially in these last 2 games since coming back from injury. Had 4 fouled out of the last one. That's what kind of kept him off the floor. But even there, that was a beautiful hook shot that didn't count. Abbas Bodija continuing to impress and continuing to go good to show good shines at a young age for this Fordham squad.
Well, a slow start for both sides. It's 5-5 with 15:42 left in half number 1. We'll step aside for just a moment and be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Joe Henry, your 2025 New York Jets beat reporters.
Follow along with us every Sunday as we cover and analyze all things JETS.
With a new quarterback at the helm, can Aaron Glenn right the ship and cause chaos in the AFC East?
Stay updated every week with game updates and recaps from @Brendan_Shorey
and @JoeHenry_4 on X.
WFUV, your home for Jets football.
Fordham 5, Davidson 5, 15:42 to go in the opening half. Joe Henry joined by Chris Carrino. Quick look at the coaching matchup today. Fordham head coach Mike Magpio, first D1 head coach of Asian descent in his first year at Fordham after 5 at UC Riverside. Today would be win number 100 in his career. On the other side, it's a family affair here at Davidson. Matt McKillop in year 4 as the shot caller, taking over for his father Bob, who coached for 33 years for the Wildcats and secured 23 conference titles during that span, most of which coming in the Southern Conference before the Wildcats moved to the A-10 about 10 years ago. Matt was his assistant for the latter 14 of those seasons. He played under him as an undergrad, and boy, a ton of success in that time, including that Elite 8 run with Steph Curry in 2008. This team looking to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022, looking for its second A-10 title. It's impressed so far this year. They were pegged just 10th in the preseason poll, Fordham 14th. Both of these teams with a lot to prove here in 2026.
Yeah, it's cool to think, Joe, especially if Matt can have some sort of long run here. It's cool to think one family has coached this team for just such a long time.
I'm not sure if he's had a son yet, but not sure if that kid
no
knows
pressure, buddy.
what his future quite looks like. Fordham with the ball in the present. Dede Reeves swivels it right side to Henry. Henry, couple dribble moves between the legs, driving inside, middle of the floor, spinning, 8-foot hook shot is good from Henry. Good to see him in the scoring column early.
I mean, the urgency offensively Christian Henry just moved with, they can have that every possession. He's going to be a hell of a player.
Koval the other way cuts inside and hits the same exact shot from 8 feet out on the floater. And we're knotted up at 7, 15-10 to go, opening half.
That was impressive as well. Cannot stress just how important the mentality of Christian Henry is right now. Keeping the mentality he's playing with right now.
Henry working the right side, finds Reeves, right wing, spinning towards the baseline, stepping back for a 16-footer. It's pure. Dede Reeves.
Goodness.
Put him in the spin cycle, and Fordham's back on top. 9-7, 14:45 left to go. Roberts Blooms, the sharpshooter off the bench, leads Davidson in scoring. Gets his first touch on the left wing. Now inside to Fredrickson. Bounce pass to a cutter inside. No good on the shot attempt from Sean Logan.
The great wall of a boss there.
Bodija got the block. Henry, top of the key, loses the ball as he cuts inside. Will slow things down. He'll pry it back outside to the left side corner. Working on the bigger Logan. Cuts baseline, is rejected by Logan. Sean Logan, who averages 2.3 blocks per game, gets one here. Other way, Blooms, 3 is good from the right wing.
Momentum was so on the side of the Rams. Offensively, defensively, they were letting it translate to both. And there, you just get caught up on the offensive end, get a wide open shot on the other side, and that momentum's gone, Joe.
The scouting report on Roberts Blooms, don't let him do what he just did. He hit 6 threes against GW in Davidson's win. Other way, Bodija bounce pass to a cutting Reeves, hits the deck and misses the layup. Blooms the other way. Davidson by 1, 10-9, 13:45 to go. Blooms working on the bigger Jacobs, trying to drive the right side, spinning at the right elbow and now looking for options. Gives it up to Hunter Adam, the New Zealand native, into the game for Davidson. Again, they run an 11-man rotation, so you'll hear a lot of names called today. Adam gets it back, left wing 3, well off to the left side. Good defense from Chris Henry.
I say, great collective defense from the Rams there.
Reeves the other way. Working the right side of the floor, nearly falls out of bounds, gets a pass inside to Bodija, but it's tipped away. Now a sprawl on the floor. Bodija collects it at the right elbow. Bodija held up by Koval on the ground, and a jump ball called. It looks like it's going to go with Davidson.
Love the hustle of the Rams. That ball looked completely in the possession of Davidson. Akira Jacobs still diving on the ground. Day Reeves diving on the ground. Abbas Bodija diving on the ground. This Fordham team has a different kind of mentality about them tonight. They are adamant about getting this team back on track.
The scrappiness is there, but the antsiness as well. 5 early turnovers for Fordham, 3 for Davidson. 5 on the floor now for the Rams as they make some more subs. Kingston Price, Marcus Green, Abbas Bodija, Louis Lesmond, and Akira Jacobs. So no Day Reeves and no Chris Henry for a couple minutes here.
And Joe, even from what you've seen so far, if this Fordham team can really defend the three-point line well, they'll be in really good shape.
Top of the key, it's J.Q. Roberts subbed into the game for Davidson. Swings it right side, Brown. Now Koval. Left wing, it's Blooms working on Lesmond. Swivels it back outside to Koval. Drives the left side, is fouled by Kingston Price, and will go to the line for 2.
Kingston Price getting some big minutes as he continues to, as the season goes along. Louis Lesmond, another guy in there for the Rams right now. The transfer from Harvard, thought to be a 3-and-D sort of player for this Fordham team. His three-point shot has really struggled this season. That's one of the X factors for this Fordham team down the stretch. If Louis Lesmond can get the three-point shot going, he can be trusted more in major moments. That'll help their defensive numbers, especially in the really high, intense, important plays. And Louis Lesmond, along with Marcus Green, who's out there, a few guys who've underperformed this season, who still have an opportunity to right the ship, turn it around, and have a good year.
Koval makes on the first, misses on the second. 11-9 Davidson, 12:45 left to go.
Kingston directing the offense now.
Don't get to see Kingston Price run point too often. He kicks it right side to Green here. Again, no Reeves, no Henry for these couple minutes here with Kingston Price at the point. Kicks it top of the key, Jacobs. Jacobs trying to probe his way inside. Jacobs, a good pump fake, a step inside, and the float shot is good. Boy, when Akira Jacobs is in aggression mode, he's a great interior scorer.
Aggression mode, and when he's confident, when he's just got some stuff about him.
Tied up at 11. It's been back and forth the whole way so far. 12:15 left to go. J.Q. Roberts working on Bodija. Kicks it outside. It's Blooms, but a foul called. This one also on Kingston Price, trying to deter a pass towards the top of the key. 2 early fouls on Price.
Yeah, and Fordham can't be too peeved with Kingston getting fouls. You'd rather that than Day Reeves or Christian Henry. Day Reeves checking into the game now. I like the group that was out there for Fordham just now. Having Day Reeves out there as a facilitator might make it even better. Really interesting 5 for the Rams.
Yeah, would have liked to had a few more possessions of Kingston Price running point just to see what he's got, and also to give Day Reeves and Chris Henry more of a breather. But Reeves comes back in after just a minute, guarding left wing on Brown. Bounce pass inside to Scovins, has some trouble with it. Now double team, has to kick it back outside to Brown. Now Blooms on the right wing, 8 seconds to work. Blooms double team. Blooms step back 3. No good off back iron. Rebound Jacobs.
Fordham should go to attack now.
Reeves the right wing. Guarded by Sam Brown. Reeves, 2-man game with Jacobs. Cuts inside, draws some contact, puts a shot up, no good, gets his own miss. A new possession, draws a foul from Blooms. And that's the kind of heart and hustle that we've come accustomed to from Day-Day
I was
Reeves.
about to say, Joe, he tenaciously got his rebound back, almost upset with himself not making the shot, making up for it. And Fordham continuing to have a good mentality. We just haven't quite seen it translate onto the scoreboard yet. They're creeping in. They're continuing to play better. It's been a steady increase of better play as this half has gone along.
Takes us to the under 12 media timeout. It's 11-11 with 11:39 left to go. A-10 basketball, Fordham and Davidson knotted up early. We send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update. Here's Hope Nolan.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The New York Knicks take on the Brooklyn Nets tonight at 7:30 p.m. at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers fell to the Kings 3-4 on the road last night, but they're back in action Friday night against the Sharks. The Islanders take on the Kraken tonight at 9:30 p.m. And finally, the Devils beat the Oilers last night 2-1, and they take on the Canucks Friday at 10 p.m. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Hope Nolan.
Thank you, Hope. Joe Henry, Chris Carrino back inside the Belk Arena, where it is 11-11 with 11:39 left to go in the first half. Fordham and Davidson. The Belk Arena, founded in 1989, named after John Belk, former mayor of Charlotte, just 45 minutes from where we sit today, and a Davidson alum too, passed away in 2007, just months before his Wildcats would go on to make an Elite Eight in 2008, as I mentioned with Steph Curry. It's a building that's seen plenty of history and titles in its time. It's ordained with banners on either side, student sections behind each hoop, and then some 30 rows or so back on either sideline, all red seats, fits over 5,000, a really state-of-the-art arena here, Chris. And it's starting to fill in today. It's been a good one so far, just back and forth in a defensive battle.
Yeah, this gym along with this campus, absolutely beautiful here in North Carolina. A really tight game, as you said, is a really highly competitive affair. We talked about the three-point line maybe being the most important aspect of this one, whether it's Davidson or Fordham. Fordham, as we've said, has really struggled so far this year from the three-point line. They've only taken one so far tonight. They made that one. That was a Jack Whitbourne three from the top of the key, where he was just left by himself to take it. Aside from that, the Fordham defense hasn't even attempted one. Davidson is known for shooting the three and shooting the three well. They've taken 6, only made 2. That efficiency has to go up if you're thinking like Fordham. Fordham not taking threes, instead finding other ways offensively, and they've been efficient. Already 55% from the field, 5 for 9.
Henry, right side baseline inbound, lobs a pass in to Marcus Green at the timeline. Kicks it left side back to Henry, and Fordham has a chance to take a lead here with 11:30 to go. It's 11-all as we get back to play here. Henry, left wing, working on Brown. Left to right crossover dribble, cuts the ball inside, bodies up a man, puts up a layup, is short, gets his own miss again. Another point guard going up for an O-board. Now out to Bodija, he drills a three. Abbas Bodija hits his first triple back from injury.
You said it, Joe. Brought a smile to my face to see another guard, just like Day-Day Reeves before, going hard after his own offensive rebound. And you know what you do when you get extra chances. You get an Abbas Bodija three.
Fordham fighting hard. 2 for 2 now from 3 for a team that's shooting just 25% all-conference play. J.Q. Roberts inside for Davidson. Puts up a shot on Bodija, gets his own miss, and hits on the reverse leg.
Good effort on the first attempt from Abbas Bodija. He just wasn't ready to have to defend a second time.
Makes it a one-point game once more. 14-13, Fordham on top with the ball. 10:35 left to go in the first half. Reeves steps inside, steps back, misses on a 12-foot bunny. Blooms the other way for Davidson. Blooms working on Reeves. Picked up by Bodija. Loses the dribble on the left wing. Looking for cutters now. Passes back outside to Brown, who will reset. Brown attacking the left side on Henry. Fires a pass left corner. It's Joseph. Airballs on the triple. Rebound Roberts. Now to Fredrickson. His triple, no good. Offensive rebound again. This one from Roberts as well. Bounce pass inside Blooms. Finds Scoville, no good. Putback is good from Blooms.
Joe, obviously an offensive rebound problem there. Fordham needs to be stronger inside, but more than that, they got lucky twice on that possession with 2 missed threes that were almost wide open. Fordham's closing out on threes defensively, going to be a big aspect of this one.
Henry the other way, left wing, cutting inside on the bigger Scovins. Bodies him up left side, low post, and lobs a pass back out to Lesmond. Lesmond, step back, 18-footer is good. hit all parts of the iron and down. A positive sign from Louis Lesmond has Fordham back in front, 16-15.
Joe, I think we've seen that a few times this season, but not any that have gone down the way that one did. Louis Lesmond showing some of the offensive artillery there.
16-15 Fordham, 9:17 left in the opening half. Manny Joseph, the 11th man for Davidson, gets the ball left wing, passes inside to Blooms, who was fouled as he stepped in front, was looking for a layup. I think the foul came before the shot attempt.
Fordham's working really hard defensively, looking at the small huddle they have inside the paint now with the 5 guys on the floor. Everyone's huffing and puffing. They all look completely sweaty. This Fordham team making a real commitment to work hard on the defensive end. It's led to what has been a really, really strong early performance from the Rams.
Blooms to the line for 2. The first one off front iron. Second one will have a chance to tie. 16-15 Fordham, 9:11 left in the first half.
And that's surprising to see from Blooms. Usually pretty good at the line. And Joe, when you're good defensively, and more than good, when you work hard defensively, it opens up so much other things, or so many other aspects of the game. It's similar to football when you can really establish the run that opens the pass game. It fully unlocks your offense. It's the same in basketball. When you can really defend, when you can hunker down on the defensive end, that's when everything else opens up.
Blooms hits on his second, really the only negative for Fordham on defense so far. How about 4 offensive rebounds allowed to a Davidson team that really doesn't crash the glass much at all? Little dose of Fordham's own medicine.
Used hunker down correctly as well. Just looked that up, making sure I was all good on there.
Great job from Chris as Fordham moves it
it.
across into the half court. Chris Henry running point for the Rams. It's 16-16, 9 minutes to play, opening half. Whitbourne, top of the key, working on a 7-footer Plateo. Finds Day-Day Reeves left wing, now cutting towards the center of the floor. Hedged by Plateo, has to give it up to Henry. Left side, Schulte, 5 seconds to work. Schulte, bounce pass inside Whitbourne. He's got to put a shot up. He has no idea. And the buzzer sounds, another turnover for Fordham. It's 6th.
And he's asking his guards, he just went over to Christian Henry and Day-Day Reeves, told him, you need to tell me. I couldn't hear. I didn't know. Fordham Rams in general need to be better communicating. On that play specifically, the Davidson defense, their length in the guard position gave Fordham a lot of trouble. Day-Day Reeves, Christian Henry couldn't communicate and couldn't facilitate in the way they wanted to. Fordham got to the front court way too late.
Yeah, Fordham guards being hedged off of screens, not getting a lot of depth on their dribble drives. It's forced 2 shot clock violations early. Here's Josh Scovin's left wing triple is airballed short. Just his 19th try of the year is no good. Reeves the other way. Cutting in front of Plateo. Chest pass inside Whitbourne. Left-handed hook shot is good to put Fordham back in front.
And I love that. That's patented big man right there. Patented nice footwork, big man. Jack done a great job.
18-16 Fordham. 8 minutes left to go in the opening half. Bloom's left wing kicks it top of the key. Plateo. Plateo has the ball ripped away by Lesmond. Lesmond into the full court. Chest pass up ahead to Schulte. Missed on the layup. Poke for the rebound. Whitbourne put a shot up. A foul was called. It looks like it's going against Davidson. Some confusion on the floor here.
And just as Louis Lesmond stole that ball, I was just about to say, Joe, Fordham doing a really good job denying the shooters of this Davidson team around the perimeter. Davidson, aside from on the dribble, having trouble getting open threes. Louis Lesmond doing the ultimate ball denial and just stealing it, bringing it the other way. Fantastic pass to Rikas as well. Just unlucky he couldn't finish.
Haven't gotten official wording on whose possession it will be off of the whistle, but we do head to the under 8 media timeout. It's 18-16 Fordham over Davidson here early on. 7:49 left to go. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
A-10 basketball on the campus of Davidson College, where the hosting Wildcats trail the visiting Fordham Rams 18-16, 7:49 left to go in the first half. Davidson founded in 1837, Fordham founded in 1841, so pretty similar timelines for these two schools.
Old
665-acre campus here in suburban North Carolina. These beautiful brick buildings, white pillars, some pristine hardwood taking center stage today. Joe Henry here with Chris Carrino courtside. Chris, what have you seen so far? A solid fight from Fordham coming off a bad loss.
Yeah, a really good fight from Fordham. That would be the first thing that sort of jumps out to me when watching this one. The effort of the Rams has definitely been there. We talked to Coach McPile before this one. He said it's been a tough week of practices after two really disappointing losses for this Ram group, and now they come into this one with a different kind of mindset. We also talked about the three-point line, how important that is. They've done a great job defensively. Davidson just 2 of 9 from the three-point line. Fordham doing a good job denying the ball to the shooters and doing a good job closing out. That's gotten progressively better as the half has gone along. And for Fordham, they're not hurting themselves. They're not metaphorically shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to their inefficiency on the offensive end. They've only taken 2 threes, and Joe, they've made them both. We are how many minutes? Or almost 13 minutes into this one, and the Fordham Rams are 100% from the three-point line, not to mention 8 for 15 from the field. That efficiency for this Fordham team is always a good sign, but in this game, with that effort they have, it's all showing up good for the Rams.
And Davidson, a top 30 team in the country in three-point shooting, 37.6% on the season. But again, just 2 for 9 so far today. This team is 7-2 when they hit 10 or more threes. So scouting report executed so far for Fordham. Devin Brown driving inside and hitting on the righty lay to tie us back up at 18 off of the break. 7:20 to play in the opening period here from North Carolina. Chris Henry with the ball to start the offense for Fordham. Ball finds Akira Jacobs, left side corner, back up top to Henry. Henry takes a right side screen from Whitbourne, hedged. Passes right side, Reeves. Reeves gets a Schulte screen. Reeves, 10 on the shot clock, kicks it back out. Henry, deep three-point try. No good. Off right iron, offensive rebound, Schulte. Reverse lay is good. Enrique Schulte in his revenge game has his first 2 points of the night.
The way he just was moving, it looked like he had revenge on the mind, Joe.
Just like that, Fordham goes back in front, 20-18 Rams. 6:45 to go, opening half. Fredrickson, left side, step back 3, no good off back iron. Rebound Reeves.
Fordham needs to start stacking stops and scores now. The more they can stack, the more separation they'll create.
Reeves splits 2 defenders, steps inside, and hits a 12-foot bunny. This Fordham offense starting to click.
Day-Day Reeves continuing the magic. We've gotten used to it this year. It's almost normal to us. It's definitely not normal, Joe.
22-18, 4-point lead for Fordham. Its biggest of the day so far, 6:17 to go. And an offensive foul called on Plateo, setting a screen on Chris Henry. It was moving, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, Joe, we've talked about how much we enjoy this group between the Fordham coaches and the Fordham players. Fordham assistant coach after that play, Ryan Highland, so amped up, jumping off the bench, yelling at Christian Henry, so amped up that they created that turnover on the defensive end. Fordham's defense has really been what's kept them in this one and gave them the platform to play so well on the offensive end.
And again, Davidson 2 for 10 now from 3. They've committed 5 turnovers. Great defense from the Rams, have them out to a 4-point lead. 22-18, 6 minutes to go, opening half. Reeves cuts inside. Now an offensive foul called on Fordham. It's going to go against Schulte, who was trying to seal off his defender so that Reeves had a lane to the basket. They say that he moved him off his ground too much, and consecutive offensive fouls for either side.
And now the Fordham Rams kind of stunted in their momentum slightly. They cannot be daunted by this. They have to continue to play the really, really good basketball they've played so far in this first half.
Still 22-18, 5:50 to go. Devin Brown, left elbow, spin move, step back. Jacobs hits one right over him. 10-footer brings Davidson back within 2.
That's tough from the Ohio native, who's 5 for 8 in their last win against GW. He's continuing that here tonight.
On offense, Fordham, Whitbourne, over the head pass to Reeves, top of the key, probes inside, passes back out to Henry. Guarded by Sam Brown at the right wing. Henry, top of the key, thinks about it 3. Kicks out, left corner, Schulte, 3, air ball off the fingertips of Whitbourne on the rebound, out of bounds, and Davidson has mounted consecutive stops for the first time in a while.
And I'm sure Rikas not too happy about airballing at his former place of work here at Davidson. Nonetheless, Fordham kind of in, a place of stunted momentum. this Davidson team not doing enough on the offensive end to really turn the tide. Fordham needs to continue to take advantage of that.
22-20 Fordham. Louis Lesmond, another steal off of Brown in the half court. Lesmond to the cup, draws contact and finishes for 2. No foul, but Fordham's back up by 4.
Telling you what, Louis Lesmond, when the three-pointer's not going, he's finding other ways to be productive. And man, oh, is he productive. 2 steals already, that one, an impressive finish on the other end.
Other way, it's Logan working inside on Whitbourne, spinning, missing on the hook shot. Rebound, guess who? Lesmond. This might be his most impactful half as a Fordham Ram so far.
That was an athletic rebound as well.
Henry the other way, working the right side, passing the corner for Reeves, tied up by Brown. Reeves kicks outside Jacobs. He's been quiet so far. Feeds right back to Reeves in the chest. Left wing, steps inside, steps back, and hits on the left elbow jumper. Day-Day Reeves is getting his, and he's up to 8 points for Fordham to lead all scores.
Joe, I know I've been called a prisoner of the moment, but this is the most confident I've seen Fordham play all season long. Not even really close.
Quite the response after a dismal effort against Duquesne on Saturday. 26-20 Fordham, 4:15 to go first half. Sam Brown double team left side baseline. Has to bring it out up top. Now to Devin Brown. Steps into a 3. Missed it off front iron. Rebound corralled by Lesmond.
Louis Lesmond likes to hear his name called by Joe Henry. Just keeps keeping himself in the action. Always involved is Louis Lesmond. Haven't said that much this year. It's absolutely true here tonight.
4 points, 2 of 2 shooting, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block from Lesmond. How about that for a guy who's really struggled in just about all facets of his game. Jacobs, right wing, fires a pass inside, off the fingertips of Whitbourne, off the backboard, into the hands of Koval for Davidson, and Chris Henry will intentionally foul in the half court to get us to a stoppage.
Great idea there from Akira Jacobs, just not great execution. As long as he keeps that mindset of trying to make the best play, trying to make the right pass, that's when this Fordham offense is going to really excel.
So Fordham's offense, inconsistent the past couple minutes, but has done plenty enough on the back of its defense. 26-20 Fordham, stonewalling the Wildcats through 16+ minutes. We'll take a break with 3:40 left to play in the opening half and check back in with Hope Nolan. She has a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Checking out some A10 basketball on the women's side. SLU took down Fordham this morning 67-57 in overtime. George Mason is currently holding off Bonnie's 47-44 in the fourth quarter. VCU has the edge over GW 54-48. Dayton leads Duquesne 66-48. URI is beating Davidson 51-41, and LaSalle versus Loyola Chicago is a close game 23-22. On the men's side, LaSalle leads over Dayton 40-29 at half, and Richmond versus URI is 15-20. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Hope Nolan.
Thank you, Hope. Joe Henry, Chris Carrino back in the building where number 30 hangs on the wall. Davidson College home to the greatest shooter of all time, Stephen Curry. His number 30 retired in a special red jersey in 2022. They named a whole interstate highway after him just a few weeks ago during the A10 opener. And despite what you might think, a Davidson team built off shooting, home to the greatest shooter of all time, just 2 of 11 from behind the arc to start out today. Chris, Fordham's perimeter defense has been exceptional, and it's been the start and end of the reason why they've had such a bounce-back outing so far.
Yeah, and I've said it, Joe, the effort on the defensive end is what set the stage for Fordham to be so good on the offensive end. The efficiency for Fordham's offense is what has them in the high point total they're at right now and the 6-point lead they have right now. The defensive effort, I think, has been spearheaded by the guards. It's been Day-Day Reeves, Christian Henry, done a good job of running around at the top of the key, really denying a lot of that three-point shooting. And this Davidson team, when their three-point shooting is denied, it's like ripping out all their organs. They're sort of an unalive team on the offensive end, kind of devote of life.
It's a Davidson team that likes to work it inside out, so they like to get the paint touches and then kick back out, but they've had a hard time even getting it into the paint to begin with, and I think that's caused problems for their offense.
When that three-point shooting aspect is gone, it hurts their inside play, their outside play. This Davidson team is going to continue to struggle if this Fordham team is as aware defensively as they've been so far.
3 minutes, 30 seconds for Davidson to address those problems before we hit the break. 26-20 Fordham, Wildcats with the ball. Sam Brown, top of the key, draws a leap from Louis Lesmond trying to defend. Pass inside. JQ Roberts draws a foul on the baseline. And it looks like they're going to call it a shooting foul, so 2 coming for Roberts.
Yeah, and Fordham's done a good job not fouling too much so far. We've talked about how bad Fordham is at getting to the line, dead last in the country at getting to the line. But on the defensive end, they've stayed pretty disciplined, a big testament to the coaching of this unit.
Foul on the floor, not in the act of shooting. Brown bounce pass inside, finds a cutting Adam, misses on his first, gets it back and puts it in for Davidson.
Fordham can't lose the momentum. They work so hard to create a few stops and scores from Davidson. This could be a whole different ball game.
26-22, Fordham lead and the ball. Final 3 minutes of half number 1 from Davidson, North Carolina. Chris Henry calling the shots. Bounce pass left wing, Louis Lesmond. Feed inside, Whitbourne. Far side, low block. Whitbourne bodying up his defender towards the middle of the floor. Spinning baseline, fading away, and hitting on the 10-footer.
I mean, that's as good as it gets at the 5 position on the offensive end. Good footwork. Good physical play, good touch, pretty much everything there for Jack Whitbourne.
Whitbourne reboundless, but up to 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting. Other way, Blooms, left side, baseline, step back, no good from 16. Great defense, Louis Lesmond. He gets the board, and Fordham's moving the other way. 28-22, 2:25 left to go, opening half. Akira Jacobs top of the key.
Fordham can really set themselves apart here with the bucket.
Day Reeves, the man to do it, spins inside, dumps off a pass for Whitbourne. ESPN, check that one out.
Dun-a-nut, Joe. The most important possession of the first half for the Rams, and they did it with some style. My goodness.
Fordham up by 8, largest lead of the day. 30-22, 2 minutes left in the opening half. Sam Brown, bounce pass, look out, Roberts! A 2-hand slam. Retaliatory from Davidson to pull back within 6.
Thought one of those tubes in the rafters might be in trouble on that jump. My goodness, that guy's athletic.
We saw that they have a backup basket hanging in the tunnel. We might need one if these teams keep dunking it the way that they have. 30-24, Chris Henry dives inside, loses the ball, goes on the ground, passes out to Lesmond, corner 3, off front iron, rebound, snared by Davidson. Final 90 seconds of the opening period. Sam Brown kicks it left corner, it's Blooms. Working on Henry, trying to create some space. Blooms still working on Henry. Hits him to the deck, and they're going to stop for an injury as Sam Brown needs to leave the game, middle of the possession.
Not sure if Sam called timeout there for his team or for himself. Christian Henry on the floor holding his stomach, sitting on the ground. Now he's finally just helped up. I think maybe the air was taken out of him a little bit. I think that's the problem. And now hunched over, he's laughing about it. Doesn't seem too severe, but the Fordham Rams going into the timeout on maybe one of the most exciting plays of the season so far, that dump-off pass to Jack Whitbourne. Day Reeves doing what he's done all season long, putting the Fordham Rams in the best position they could possibly be in. And this Davidson team, Joe, really hasn't woke up yet this half. It seems a lot of the things they do well, a lot of the things they excel on, they aren't doing so well this evening so far. And we've talked about, Joe, the ebbs and flows they've had so far this season. This game may be another testament to that. 2 games ago, they get blown out by Rhode Island. They go into GW, have a really fantastic, gritty win. And now again, in this first half, you're at home, kind of come out flat.
Yeah, it feels similar to the way they responded after George Mason to go to St. Bonaventure and pick up a win. Notably, Davidson yet to pick up a win on its home floor in A-10 play. 0-2, but 3-0 on the road. Both Brown and Henry are in their respective huddles. They appear to be fine. And you talked about that play, Reeves and Whitbourne. They've been the engine for the Fordham offense so far. Reeves up to 8 points, 4 of 7 shooting. That one his first assist, and Whitbourne 9 points to lead all players either side, 4 of 4 shooting. And one of those 2 made threes for Fordham came from Whitbourne.
Day Reeves, the most highly touted transfer for this Fordham team in the offseason. Jack Whitbourne, the most highly touted transfer from Coach Magpaio's UC Riverside. 2 guys doing exactly what they're advertised.
Combining to lead this team through one half of play. Final 70 seconds, ball's picked off by Reeves. Reeves coming the other way, bumps the ball away, retrieves it on the right side of the floor. Tried to draw contact, lost it momentarily, picked it back up. So no fast break points for Fordham, but they'll settle things down. Chris Henry in the half court. Final minute. Right side, Reeves. Reeves, pump fakes, jab steps, drives baseline, sends his defender to the floor. They call it an offensive foul. And Nick Koval, who could have been the subject of another highlight reel play, kind of smiles after that one. He was sent into his defender, crumbling towards the ground off the shove from Dede Reeves.
Yeah, the official not on it at all. He almost wasn't going to call it, and then saw how egregiously Dede Reeves fouled his defending player and said, I just got to call this. The call was made. Dede Reeves continuing to just try every single possible facet in order to get open and make a play for his team offensively.
9th turnover of the half for the Rams. Final 45 seconds here of the opening period. Koval spinning, 10-footer, no good, but a foul called on Green in the act of shooting.
And Dede Reeves going to sub out Marcus Green, the guy they call Cap, subbing in now. Same 5 out there aside from Marcus. It's good to just see Christian Henry, even in the non-whistle periods, the dead ball periods, getting his team together in a huddle under the basket. Christian Henry's leadership skills, really good sign for Fordham.
It was 30-22 with 2:15 left in the half. Now 30-25, maybe 30-26 after a second from Koval with just 42 seconds left. Little run here from Davidson.
Davidson still not efficient from the field. 10 for 25 in totality. 2 for 11 from 3. A lot lower of a number than they're used to so far this season.
Koval, the redshirt freshman, hits on a second. 4-point game, final 42 seconds of the first half. Chris Henry to inbound in the full court and a press coming from the Wildcats. Ball into Green, back to Henry, and the pressure will sag off as he brings it across the timeline, calling the shots for Fordham. Into the hands of Green. Bounce pass, Whitbourne, right wing. Finds Jacobs up top. Dribble handoff, Lesmond. 25 on the game clock, 12 on the shot clock. Henry, deep on the right wing. Henry, left-right crossover dribble, draws a foul on Blooms prior to any shot. Foul on the floor, Fordham not yet in the bonus. Just the 5th foul of the half from Davidson.
And I love that from Christian. Being productive. He knew with how physical he was either going to get a foul or get past the defender. And, of course, he got the foul. Now he's inbounding under the basket.
Left side of the basket, lobs a pass, full court for Lesmond, who snares it in like Odell Beckham to prevent the over and back violation.
Looked like Torrey Horton on that one.
Nonchalantly gives it up to Chris Henry, and we've got 10 seconds left in the first half from North Carolina. Henry with 5. Henry crossover, dribble drive, left side, offensive foul called on Jacobs. With the clock reading 3 seconds, another backbreaker of an offensive foul from Fordham. It's 10th turnover of the half.
Yeah, that was the last thing you wanted to do in that possession. You wanted to give yourself a chance to score. Obviously, you wanted to score, but not even giving yourself a chance to score. That was not what you wanted to do.
Final 3 seconds, half-court heave, Brown. Oh, off the front iron and out.
I had my hands in a shrug as that ball was in the air. He had more than enough time to dribble even closer. I guess when you have your spots, you just try and get to him, right, Joe?
I mean, he had his foot on the center court line. It's just how you draw it up at the end of shoot-around when you take some half-quarters before heading on the buses for home. It looked like he practiced that shot. He nearly made it.
And let's not let that spectacle cloud us from what was one of the best Fordham first halves of the season so far. 58% from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, not taking that many, but also making the ones that they're taking on the defensive end. It's been a collective, united front, a united effort from Fordham. I am not surprised with how hard they're playing that they've gotten such a great result so far.
And 9 points from Whitbourne, 8 from Reeves. Several other contributors have Fordham out to a 30-26 lead. We've had halftime from Davidson, North Carolina. Fordham is 9-2 this season when leading at the break.
Wow.
Teams head into the locker room. We'll head to the Rose Hill Studios in the Bronx, New York, where Anthony Smith and Hope Nolan have your one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
And we welcome you inside the Rose Hill Studios, Anthony Smith, alongside Hope Nolan for your one-on-one halftime report. Fordham currently leading Davidson 30-26. Hope, one of the best first-half performances from this Fordham squad that we've seen all season, coming in another A-10 contest against a very talented offense in this Davidson Wildcat team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fordham came out strong. I think this is a super important game for them, and they know how feisty they kind of had to come out from the start. So I think this was a great first half, and I'm hoping it continues in the second half.
And it seemed like this Fordham offense starting to click on all cylinders late in that first half. Kind of slowed down towards the end of it in these last couple minutes. But again, Day Reeves really stepping up. Jack Whitbourne also taking a huge role in the offensive input. What have you liked from this offensive side of the ball for Fordham so far in this first half?
I mean, they've put up some great shots, some great threes in this half. And I just think this momentum they need to continue on to the second half. Davidson's a super strong opponent with a great basketball history. So I'm just looking to see teamwork in the second half and making sure that we keep this lead.
And as for this Fordham defense, they're doing a really great job of containing this Davidson offense so far. Coach Magpile was really crediting this Davidson offense in the pregame sound, as we heard, calling them a really great offense, and it was going to be really difficult to stop them. But they've done a great job so far here today. 2 for 12 from beyond the arc for the Wildcats team. What has this Fordham team done so well on the defensive side of the ball that's led them to have this lead as of right now?
I think just overall working together and communicating well. I think we've seen a lack of communication on a lot of other games this season, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication at the start of the game, but I think they've definitely cleaned that up and have been communicating really well.
And then you mentioned before hoping Fordham can kind of contain this second half performance. We've seen throughout a lot of these A-10 games for Fordham that they really struggled to play a complete 40 minutes of the game. What are some things that maybe this Fordham team should look to improve on as they head into the second half, try and complete those 40 minutes and get their second A-10 win of the season?
Yeah, I think just having that momentum is super important, and they know that they can play a first half, but Davidson's going to go into the locker room and kind of nitpick their weaknesses right now, so I think Fordham needs to work on those weaknesses and also capitalize on their strengths and just get the ball in the right place and get those shots out.
And as for this Fordham team, we'll touch a little bit on the offense again. Only 2 for 5 from three-pointers, shooting 40%. But compared to Davidson, they are shooting 2 for 12, so a lot more shots being put from beyond the arc for this Davidson team. Fordham doing a lot of a lot smarter selection of their shots, but they have not gone to the free throw line throughout this whole game. Something they really struggled with. They do not get to the free throw line a lot. If I'm Fordham, I'm Coach Magpie, I want to see my team get to the interior more, start drawing a little bit more of those fouls. Compared to Davidson, they've only been to the line 6 times here today. But Fordham's still something that you want to improve on, right, Hope?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think playing those plays smart and just making sure that they aren't fouling has been super good this half. But I think just getting those shots off and making smart plays, like, it's not worth it just to fire off the ball for no reason. Like, let's be strategic about when we're taking those shots and also obviously paying attention to the shot clock.
Yeah, I think this Fordham team could also do a really good job of maybe shooting more threes in a sense. They've only shot 5, as I just mentioned, but maybe just try and get those shots up more. I mean, they're doing a really good job of connecting on those 3-pointers that they're shooting. So maybe if those shots are going, kind of see who's comfortable, get the ball in Day Reeves' hands, try and get Jack Whitbourne going a little bit more from beyond the arc. But somebody that really we haven't seen Fordham getting involved in this team right now is Chris Henry. Only 2 points, but when he really gets going, this could be really beneficial for this Fordham team. So I think that's someone you got to look out for the second half. Anybody else that really comes to your mind here, Hope, on this Fordham squad that can maybe have a good second half performance?
I think you said it best. I think Kingston Price is very good as well, and I think getting him out on the court and getting some good plays out could be very beneficial for the Rams. Also, I know they said that this would be Magpie's 100th win, which would be super awesome, going especially on the road at Davidson, which is such an elite basketball school. But that would be super exciting to get that win tonight. So I just think second half, Fordham knows where they've been slipping up, and I'm hoping this is the game where we can correct that, especially with their win on the road against Bonnie's. We know we can win on the road.
And I think related to that Magpie 100 wins, I think it'd be even more special. I mean, obviously getting this win on the road, but not only that, but kind of just giving a statement to the rest of this A-10. This Fordham team is here to play. I mean, in mostly every game in the A-10 so far, this team has been competitive. They punch you in the nose for 40 minutes. They give you a good effort, and I think we've seen that from this Fordham team today. A lot better than maybe some of the other performances as they're leading in half. 9-2, I think Chris said, when leading into the second half. So if Fordham can just carry this momentum here into the second half, could be really great for the overall result of this game. And as for this rest of the team, I mean, we mentioned Kingston Price, Christian Henry leads the A10 in assist. Maybe just try to see him going and just facilitating the offense a little bit. But somebody else that was mentioned in the pregame, Rikus Schulte, spent his freshman year with Davidson. Only 2 points on the game today, but 4 rebounds. He's really been the main rebounder so far for this Fordham team. And then besides that, not really a lot of scoring depth going around for this Fordham team. They're getting outscored in bench points by 10, 17-7 compared to Davidson. But another thing that this Fordham team needs to really fix going into this second half is the turnovers. They started off turning the ball over, not really taking care of as much early in that first half. Maybe had a little bit of the jitters going on, but have improved on it much more going into this later half. But what's something this Fordham team can do, kind of try and limit the turnovers, and you think maybe they should get more of these scorers involved to get those bench points up?
Yeah, I definitely think getting more people able to score and getting those people open would be super beneficial. It is hard to see that Davidson has gotten so many points off the bench and has so many different people scoring. That's kind of like at the end of the game when people get tired, they can get more shots off and more people will score. So Fordham needs to make sure to not be in a position where those people can start to score towards the end. But yeah, I just think they know what they have to do for the second half, and 9-2 for going into second half, like that's a kind of crazy stat. So I'm hoping the Rams are a little aware of that and can keep it together in the second half.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that point. 9 points off turnovers for Davidson, only 2 for Fordham, despite having just 3 more turnovers than this Davidson team. But something that really has stuck out to me is this Fordham team has really maintained the lead throughout this entire first half. Not much of what you see. I know in previous games we had Fordham, they take the lead, but then they start going in more scoring droughts. And I think that something that you can maybe do to prevent that is just try and get a lot of scorers involved. Make sure that you have multiple guys being able to score the basketball. Right now it's just Day-Day Reeves, really, Jack Whitbourne, everybody else kind of adding a 2 points here, 3 points there. And I think anything that you really can add hope that can prevent Fordham from having these scoring droughts that they've kind of had throughout this entire season.
I don't really know if it's one thing specifically. I know in the George Mason game, they were up at half, and then going into the second half, it just kind of seemed like not everything fell apart. That's crazy to say, but they just weren't able to get shots off, and George Mason came back in quickly. So I think Davidson's going to come in. They have so many people that can score, so just making sure to get those rebounds, but also to get those shots off.
And then just kind of pointing out to the rest of this schedule here for Fordham. I mean, another tough game here today at Davidson, obviously. And then obviously they have more A10 games approaching. I mean, how crucial it is to just kind of get this second conference win in such a tough conference where they've sort of struggled with 1-5 conference record as of right now. I mean, do you see it as a must-win game? I know every game you go in trying to win the game, but do you see it as more of a must-win, or maybe just...
I think this is a must-win game. I think they need that momentum and they need that energy coming back to the Bronx in a week to play LaSalle. But we are still early on in the season, and we do match up with most of these teams again. But I think kind of correcting this stuff now and starting to get those wins now is super important for conference play.
And I think this Fordham team, I mean, they've really done a great job of staying in the game throughout these A10 contests. These past couple weeks, right now currently with the lead obviously over Davidson, which is something that we really haven't seen going into a second half, but in the St. Bonaventure game they've had the lead, then they kind of gave it up with the scoring drought and then able to overcome that. So that's something that we really haven't seen from this Fordham team if it does get to that situation again. But that's going to do it here for the one-on-one halftime report. Again, the score is 30-26 Fordham over Davidson. I'm Anthony Smith, joined by Hope Nolan. You will hear from us for the one-on-one post-game report, but for now, we will send you from New York back to North Carolina for the second half action with Joe Henry and Chris Carrino.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at Grace McCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Hey Devils fans, Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at @Taustin_24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Second half inbound from Davidson, North Carolina, an 8-10 matchup between the 11-6 Davidson Wildcats and the 10-9 Fordham Rams. Joe Henry here with Chris Carrino to take you the rest of the way. Thanks to Anthony and Hope for the halftime report. Chris, we've got a pivotal 20 minutes to play. Before then, it's 30-26 Fordham through one half. Chris, it wasn't perfect, but one of Fordham's best halves of the year.
Yeah, Joe, absolutely. Good to be back here with you in North Carolina. Yeah, Joe, what I would call an ideal Fordham basketball game so far. What I mean by that is that it's gone about as well as you could want it to go as a Fordham Ram fan, especially when you think about it broadly, how you want this team to play game in and game out. On the defensive end, there's been a tenacity. Obviously, that starts with effort. This Fordham team showing maybe the most effort in a half we've seen so far. They were fantastic. They may have been huffing and puffing at the end of some dead balls, but that effort was on display. It was the reason for Davidson's low three-point percentage and their low field goal percentage in general. Davidson shooting under 40% from the field and under 20% from the three-point line. And on the other side of the court, offensively for the Rams, the ideal game for the Rams is efficiency. They've done that so far. 14 for 24 from the field. Less shots than Davidson and 4 more makes than Davidson. That's almost 60% from the field. They also haven't done what they've done all season, Joe, which is fall in love with the three. That's not going to fall in love with them back. They've only taken 5. They've made 2 of them. That efficiency on the offensive end and that effort on the defensive end, it's what leads to an ideal game for the Rams and a type of game that the Rams are going to put themselves in the best chance to win.
Fordham led for most of the first half, led by as much as 8, now down to 4, 30-26. Hope mentioned it, though. Fordham has struggled to hold leads in the second half this season. What's the number one thing you're looking for to ensure that Fordham hangs on tonight?
I would say it's multiple things. I would say it's a few of the keys I just said, Joe. One of them is the effort. The effort cannot wane. If this team's effort, specifically this team's defensive effort, starts to go away or wane, as I said, it will be not good, not only for Davidson's offense, but also on the defensive end. Both sides of the floor translate toward each other, keeping that defensive effort for 40 minutes. So important for Fordham. And Joe, like I said, keeping that efficiency. You can't get inefficient now. As long as you're efficient inside, I don't need them to make 10 threes in this next half. But if they can stay efficient inside, keep that field goal percentage above around 45%, they're going to put themselves in a really good spot.
The starters back out for either side. Sam Brown, Parker Fredrickson, Devin Brown, Josh Scovins, and Ian Plateo for Davidson. And Chris Henry, Akira Jacobs, Jack Whitbourne, Day Reeves, and Rika Schulta for Fordham. Rams will start moving it right to left here in half number 2.
Joe would also like to touch on, Fordham didn't get to the line even once in that first half. Didn't even attempt a free throw, let alone make one. They're last in the country at getting to the line. That needs to improve for them to get not only better in this one, but better for the rest of the season.
They've been aggressive defensively. How about offensively? Here's Whitbourne, top of the key, missed on a 3, a little long. Rebound is won by Davidson. Plateo the other way.
Whitbourne made one in the first half. It was a big jolt to the Fordham offense. Couldn't get that one to go.
Plateo, right elbow, bounce pass inside. Scovins cutting baseline, puts up a little layup right over Schulte and in. Back to a 2-point game. First 45 seconds of play in the second half.
That was some wizardry from Plateau, that bounce pass amongst the trees.
How about this one from Schulte? Chest pass fired inside to Whitborn, finishes on the layup. Fordham back up by 4, 32-28. First minute elapsed in the second half.
Schulte's evolution since being here at Davidson is also that he's more a complete player, able to pass the ball, able to find open players like that.
Scovins bodies up Schulte, sends him to the floor, and Schulte has drawn an offensive foul, a charge. He hit the deck, and Fordham's bringing it the other way.
Joe, you know what also makes you a more complete player? Being able to take it to the floor. Being able to take a plunge for your team. The Fordham bench doesn't like anything more, doesn't get any more excited than when one of their guys takes the plunge.
Seen Schulte do that more than anyone this year, including that virtually game-winning charge against St. Bonaventure. Now Schulte the other way, drives the right side, reverse layup is good with the left hand. Rikus Schulte getting into the scoring column, he's up to 4.
Rikus in his former home, he's taking this one over.
34-28 Fordham, 18:30 to go second half. Sam Brown working on Chris Henry right wing. Passes inside Plateo, right side low block, bodying up Whitborn. Plateo towards the middle of the floor, spins underneath the basket, puts up a lefty layup, no good. Rebound Scovins, offensive for Davidson. He'll put up an 8-footer, no good off the front of the iron.
Joe, when someone asks you how strong is the Fordham front court defensively, show them that play. Rikus Schulte and Jack Whitborn would not be moved, would not be tested on that play.
First 2 minutes elapsed of the second half. Fordham by 6 with the ball, 34-28. Rikus Schulte near side, low block, backing down the smaller Scovins. Schulte has the ball poked away, dives to the floor to retrieve it. Schulte tied up by Scovins. It will be a jump ball. It will stay with Fordham, but just 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah, and a similar play in the first half with Christian Henry. Rikus Schulte making a mistake there, understanding that there's a loose ball, and without even a second to decide, jumping on that one. The amount of urgency this Fordham team has to make up for their mistakes when they make them, that's a great sign for Coach Magpaio's team.
Possession error was facing the wrong way, Chris. It is Davidson ball.
They were just trying to confuse you, Joe. Only
there were
you.
just 5 seconds left on the shot clock, so it wouldn't have been great for Fordham if they did have it. Wildcats with it, down by 6, 17-35 to go second half. Hunter Adam into the game early for Davidson. Again, they run an 11-man rotation, so a lot of subs early on. Plateo at the nail, working on Whitborn. Passes out left side corner.
Great defense from the Rams.
Brown guarded tightly by Henry on the baseline as to kick out Plateo. The 7-footer with a step-back 3. He drilled it. The bench can't believe it.
The silence you hear on the air is how speechless Plateau just left the two of us. He turned Jack Whitborn around, stepped back in the corner. It would have been impressive for the alma mater of this school, Steph Curry, let alone a 7-footer. My goodness.
It's the first 3 of his college career, and it gets this building up and moving again. Wildcats down by just 3. Henry, left elbow, 5 seconds to work. Finds Jacobs, now inside Whitborn. He's got to shoot. Step back, fade away, off back iron. Tip for the rebound. Will go out of bounds. Last touch by Davidson. Jacobs got hit inadvertently in the face. No whistle on the play. Will stay with Fordham either way. A new 20 for the Rams.
Got absolutely crushed. I mean, just got smacked in the face. That's straight up what happened. My goodness. Letting the boys play here in North Carolina, Joe.
Fordham will have it in front of its own bench, far side in the half court off of the offensive rebound. An unconventional one at that.
And like you said, Davidson building momentum. This is a really big offensive possession for the Rams.
Henry to trigger the inbound, lobs a pass, dangerous, but recalled by Whitborn. Back in the hands of Henry. Takes it left side, Schulte, left corner, Jacobs, 3, he hit it. Akira Jacobs gets one right back, and Fordham's back up by 6.
Man, that's a big shot. To calm the tide that was coming in, that was Davidson. It's completely silent in this gym now.
Brown the other way, top of the key. Missed off front iron on the 3. Offensive rebound, Devin Brown. Back to Sam Brown, top of the key. Right side, Fredrickson, his triple. Off left iron, rebound Schulte.
Fordham continuing to play great defense, specifically at the three-point line. They're not letting Davidson get in this game at all from behind the arc.
Davidson getting a lot of offensive rebounds, up to 7 now for a team ranked 270th in the country in that category, but they're not converting off of them.
And now 3 for 15 from 3.
Schulte in the paint, fade away, hook shot, rims out. In and out from Schulte. Davidson the other way, down by 6, 15:45 to go. Fredrickson tied up by Henry, top of the key. Good ball deterrence. from the guards for the Rams so far today. Devin Brown, right wing, working on the bigger Jacobs. At the nail, passes out left side. Adam, wide open, three. No good, off front iron, rebound Reeves.
Fordham can really separate themselves now with a few buckets.
Reeves with some pace, splits two defenders, draws some contact, misses on the lay. Rebound batted out to Henry, who will settle things down on the left wing.
There's got to be an ice cream shop in the Bronx, Joe, that gets an NIL deal for Day-Day Reeves. The Day-Day split.
Jacobs fires a pass inside Whitbourne, missed on the layup. Wide open, ball picked away by Reeves. Off of the rebound. Reeves gets one back for Fordham. On the right corner, Reeves going to work. Reeves to the cup. Reeves and one! Day-Day to the bucket for two, plus the foul.
Joe, all I could say is this guy's so tough, man. This guy, in the literal sense, in the metaphorical sense, I mean, this guy will get on the ground for your team, and he'll dive for a loose ball, and he'll also split two defenders, go reverse on two contesting front court players, and finish at the rim. Day-Day Reeves, everything he's been advertised in the offseason, the marquee player coming in for Fordham, he has lived up to every single bit of it so far, especially here tonight.
Reeves the steal, the foul, the score, and an and one after the break. 15:01 to go in regulation. Fordham back up by 8, 39-31, matching its largest lead so far today. We'll be back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Back courtside in North Carolina, the visiting Fordham Rams lead the hosting Davidson Wildcats 39-31 with 15 minutes to go in regulation. Joe Henry here with Chris Carrino. These teams meeting for the 23rd time all-time in the first of two this year. 18-4, the all-time series lead in favor of Davidson, including both games last year. Last time Fordham beat this team was in March, an OT thriller to knock the Wildcats out of the A-10 tournament in 2024. And they're trying to knock these Wildcats out again, up by 8, matching their largest lead of the night after a big run spurred by Day-Day Reeves.
Yeah, Day-Day Reeves has just been fantastic. That play was kind of the personification of just how good he's been. A play that was fully abandoned by the Fordham offense. Day-Day Reeves stealing the ball in the backcourt and then eventually finishing on just a ridiculous play to the rim. I also want to talk about Davidson. On the other side of the floor, Davidson's offense has truly been what's let them down up to this point. They're trailing by 8, 15 minutes in this one. They've been scoreless in the last 2 minutes and change. They're 1 for their last 6 field goals, and they're 1 for their last 12 from the three-point line. Joe, earlier in this game, we talked about Davidson's biggest aspect, or biggest weapon, I should say, in their game, possibly their three-point shooting, to be 1 for 12 from the three-point line. Davidson not in a confident spot at all. Hard to win any games if you're the Wildcats, if you're shooting 1 for 12 from the three-point line.
Reeves the and one before the break, connects on the free throw after it. Fordham's first free throw of the day through 25-plus minutes. Brown the other way, fouled by Louis Lesmond as he tried to drive inside from the right elbow. Foul is on the floor.
And Joe, I know all things are good. We're trying to stay positive. Me and you are enjoying how positive this is, but the free throw shooting and getting to the free throw line is just weird. This Fordham team has been more confident, has been more, I would say, effective getting to the rim, more aggressive getting to the rim. If that can translate toward free throws, this Fordham team is going to get even more complete than they are right now.
No doubt. It's a team that's so aggressive on the interior defensively and rebounding, and we even see on the perimeter here, Rika Schulte called for a foul, guarding too tightly on Josh Scovin. So a couple fouls on the floor against Fordham. It feels like if they can marshal that aggression into aggression when they have the ball in the paint and draw some fouls, it could add another layer to the offense.
And like you're saying, because they do it on one end, I think it would easily translate to the other. Just a little adjustments on the offensive end.
Mike Magpio teams have not historically gone to the line a whole lot. Brown off of the inbound, drives baseline, misses, rebound, put back in by Logan plus the foul.
Hate to see that. You make a good effort for a long time there on the defensive end, and then just right at the end, you just make sort of a regretful arm block / steal kind of thing. It's the point where defenders put their hand around their shoulders and they're trying to reach for the ball. That time it was called for a foul.
Logan misses on the free throw. Offensive rebound. Brown kicks back outside to Koval. Devin Brown gets it back left wing. Shakes free of Schulte. Steps back left side corner. Now bodying up Reeves. Driving inside. Middle of the floor. Misses on the layup. Rebound Schulte. A 10th offensive rebound for Davidson. But they're not doing much with him. Just 8 second chance points, and Chris Henry will bring it the other way.
Does that remind you of anybody, Joe?
No, it reminds you of Fordham, a team that's shooting just 33% on its putbacks in its last 5 games.
That's what I was getting at.
Rams up by 7 now, 13:55 to go second half. Scovins nearly gets in the passing lane, swats it out near the broadcast table, will stay with Fordham. Just 9 seconds on the shot clock. Fordham taking a while to get into the offense there.
Yeah, and that play also reminding me, Joe, this Fordham team hasn't turned the ball over much. They turned it over a decent amount in that first half. Since then, they've limited turnovers in a good way.
Henry to trigger the inbound right in front of us near side in the half court. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Bounce pass into Reeves, gets it back, and he's attacking. Draws the foul at the top of the key on Manny Joseph.
And for a team that doesn't do it very well, Christian Henry doing a really good job of forcing Davidson into fouls, getting Davidson into foul trouble.
Henry and Reeves get to the line the most of any players on Fordham. Henry certainly draws the most fouls on the Fordham side. He has the ball here, a new 20 for the Rams off the foul. Henry cutting inside on the left side of the floor. Loses the dribble, has to give it up to Lesmond, left wing. Inside to Schulte, rejected by Logan. His second block of the day. Joseph the other way. Fredrickson, 3, swirls out. Offensive rebound, Scovins tipped away by Henry, and they say it's Fordham ball. The entire building can't believe it, and somehow they've convinced the official to switch his ruling.
Joe, if that was Fordham ball, I was just about to completely gloat about just the play that Christian Henry made. That was objectively Davidson ball. There wasn't even going to be a discussion. There wasn't even going to be really a fight over it. At the last second, resourcefully, Christian Henry tried to knock it off a Davidson player. I'm, Joe, in love with that play.
So it is Davidson ball off of the tip out from Henry, but a great hustle play from the point guard, who Mike Pio calls the general for this Fordham team. Scovins with it off the inbound, cuts to the middle of the floor, misses on the putback. Joseph gets it back, puts up a flip shot, no good. Rebound, Kingston Price checked in for his second stint. And Fordham again surrendering a lot of offensive rebounds, but Davidson not doing anything with them.
Front court defensive domination for the Rams there. Abbas Bodija, Jack Whitbourne, these guys have been so strong inside.
Lesmond tries to lob in a pass, it's picked off by Scovins. Another turnover for Fordham, it's 12th of the day.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Koval, right wing, kicks out Scoville, top of the key. Now Joseph on the left side. Wildcats down by 7, 40-33, 12:40 to go. Inside to Plateo. Make it Logan. Logan working far side. Low block on Whitbourne. Fading away. Airballed, but a foul called on Whitbourne. Didn't see a lot of contact there, but it'll go to the line for 2.
Jack Whitbourne, active defense, constantly moving around, giving Davidson not only the player he was guarding, but the players around him no chance, no options. Jack Whitbourne limiting everything there except an inerrant late, possibly wrong official call there at the end. That is really heartbreaking for a guy who just worked so hard for so long.
Fordham's 4th personal foul of the half in just 7 minutes and change. Whitbourne's second. Logan connects on the first off front iron and in. 6-point game, 40-34, 12:36 to go. Couple substitutions either side. Akira Jacobs will come in for Louis Lesmond.
And Joe, this is where it's scary. It feels like the Rams should be up a lot more right now. It feels like they're dominating this game a lot more than it shows on the scoreboard. The Fordham Rams need to translate some of that dominance on the scoreboard, or else this one might get a little scary.
Logan connects on both at the stripe, and the Belk Arena rising to its feet a little bit here. Back down to a 5-point game, full court press look from Davidson.
And I like this. Kingston Price leading the offense, almost throwing it away.
Into the hands of Reeves. Reeves loses the ball, has to dive on the sidelines. They're going to call him out of bounds on the sideline. It's going to be Davidson ball, and boy, has the momentum shifted in the past minute.
Yeah, Kingston Price fully took responsibility for that one immediately in the mini huddle between the 5 guys. Kingston Price throwing that one in the legs of Day-Day Reeves. It kind of started off the possession and led to disaster. Fordham needs to limit just how many mistakes they're going to cause themselves. Unforced turnovers are going to be the death of this Fordham team down the stretch if they can't get it together.
13th turnover of the day for Fordham. Davidson ball off the latest. Roberts kicks it out to Blooms, right corner. Blooms probing inside on Price. Bounce pass to Roberts. Right side, low block working on Whitbourne. Roberts spins towards the cup. Misses on the layup. Rebound, Bodija has it batted away. Onto the ground is Joseph. Kicks it out to Scovins. Has the ball babbling at his feet. Poking it out of bounds is Price. It's going to go with Fordham.
Joseph doing his best Akira Jacobs impression on that one. About 4 Fordham Rams around him. Ball loose on the floor, and he jumped on it immediately. A really great show of effort from Davidson, and a good show of effort in this last 2-3 minute stretch for Davidson as well. Davidson sensing some of the momentum that they were building, and to their credit, capitalizing on it. Fordham needing to stop all this momentum. You can feel it in the building, Joe. Joe needs to silence what has been a pretty active crowd here the last 3 minutes or so.
Feels like a big get-back possession here for Fordham. Crowd to its feet. The bench being told by the officials to sit down on the Davidson sideline. Henry into Reeves. He stepped out of bounds. A turnover in the full court off the press. And this Davidson crowd is loving every second of it.
And again, Joe, I'm going to say as objective here as I can, the refs really loving this crowd right now. They seem to really make every call in the crowd in Davidson's favor. That play specifically, yeah, Day-Day Reeves was out of bounds. I would agree, but he was out of bounds after being shoved out of bounds. It's a physical game right now. Fordham not adapting. They need to.
Fordham was up by 9, now just 5. Wildcats with the ball, trying to trim it even further. Final 12 minutes of play from the Belk Arena. 40-35 Fordham. Ball into Scovins, left side, low block, working on Bodija. Hop step, middle of the floor towards the right side. He hits off the window, and it's a 3-point game.
Fordham's biggest fears coming true right now. Davidson with all the momentum in this one. Fordham's never needed a bucket like they need one right now.
Magpio won't call timeout. Henry across the timeline for Fordham.
Trust his guys, as he should.
Into the hands of Reeves. Reeves driving left side, has to pick it back out. Finds Henry right wing, 10 to work. Henry, step back, probes inside. Henry going towards the cup, draws a foul on the ball against Koval, who had his arm wrapped around Henry's bicep.
Yeah,
and Fordham kind of bailed out a little on what was another stagnant possession.
Bailed out, but it would have been another no call if it wasn't called. He was holding him for a long time. Christian Henry doing a really good job, specifically on the floor, not at the rim necessarily, but on the floor, done a really good job of drawing those fouls and staying productive while he has the ball. You can't have long periods of time dribbling without anything productive happening. That's been the biggest difference in Christian's game tonight, the productivity of him on the offensive end.
40-37 as we hit the under 12 media timeout here in the second half, but Davidson on a 6-0 run, holding Fordham scoreless in the last 3 minutes and 42 seconds of play. We step aside for a moment and kick it over to Hope Nolan with another one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The New York Knicks are currently leading the Nets with a score of 43-24. Moving to A10 basketball on the women's side, George Mason took the win over Bonnie's 57-48 after a close game. Another close game was VCU versus G-Dub, but VCU came out on top 63-60. Dayton took down Duquesne 75-58. URI shut down Davidson with a score of 60-53. Still a good fight between LaSalle and Loyola Chicago, 46-40 at the end of the third quarter. On the men's side, LaSalle has a small lead over Dayton, 62-60 with less than 4 minutes to go. And finally, it's still a close game between Richmond and URI with a score of 36-34. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Hope Nolan.
More A10 hoops live from North Carolina. It's 40-37 Fordham over Davidson with 11:19 left to play. Joe Henry, Chris Carrino here with you. Thank you to Hope Nolan on the update. You'll hear from her once more at the Under 4 media timeout, and then from her and our friend Anthony Smith for the post-game report. But we've got 11 minutes and 19 seconds to play before then. And boy, a lot could happen in that span. That's been proven by the past 4 minutes or so in which Davidson has gone on a big run to get right back in this game.
I was about to say, Joe, the last few minutes are evidence alone that college basketball can just change on an absolute dime. Davidson playing with no momentum, limited to no momentum all game long, and then in the last couple minutes or so, they've played with all the momentum that exists in this game. They've been fantastic. They were 1 for 6 going into that stretch from the field, really inefficient. That efficiency has completely turned around, and now, Joe, the question is, will Fordham respond? It's going to say a lot about what Coach Magpaio's group is really made of.
Chance to respond here. Right side baseline inbound to be triggered by Chris Henry for Fordham. 20 on the shot clock out of the break. Henry has some trouble getting it in. Lofts a pass into the backcourt for Jacobs,
Very smart.
who will retrieve.
Waited for that one to enter the backcourt before grabbing it. Elite move there from Akira Jacobs. 6-0 run from Davidson. Fordham trying to cut it.
Henry trying to change that. Top of the key. Henry, penetration, left side towards the middle of the floor. Wild shot off back iron and out. Rebound Davidson. Wildcats a chance to tie. Koval will try to do it here. He hits. We're knotted at 40.
Coach Magpaio wants a timeout. If you keep leaving them open that many times, eventually they're going to make you pay for it. Davidson, a good three-point shooting team, and I think they're finally starting to realize that here. 10:48 to go in the second half. Still a 1-point lead for the Rams. They're holding on to it for dear life.
Just 4 of 18 as a team from 3 are Davidson. A far cry from a 37% average on the season, but the latest of those 4 have us tied at 40. They're going to call it a 2, make it, from Nick Koval. His foot was on the line on that transition 3, so the Rams will have a 1-point lead now, 40-39, but still it feels like this game's slipping away from Fordham in a way we are familiar with. We saw it against George Mason, against Richmond. We saw it in a similar fashion against Dayton, though they were down. These periods in the middle of the second half where it's hard to articulate what happens, but the other team gets right back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's hard to articulate. It's a spurt. It's a second half spurt. I think if you're a Fordham or any team in the driver's seat of a basketball game, especially a college basketball game, you have to expect that second half spurt, that second half jolt of momentum. Davidson has had that. They've had that in a big way. They really were kind of running in the mud, really momentumless for that first half, and the first half of that first half. Fordham and Coach Magpaio couldn't expect that to last the entire game. It finally ran out and led to a big run for Davidson. As I said, now in an 8-0 run, Fordham Rams continuing to do a good job guarding the Wildcats from 3. As you said, that one last shot now called a 2. As long as Fordham can continue to do that, along with kind of trying to keep an efficient style of basketball on the offensive end, I think they'll be okay. It seems that both sides they're struggling on right now, and whether that's efficiency on the offensive end or hustle on the defensive end, everything Fordham did well in that first half, they've sort of gotten away from here in this last 5 minutes or so.
No doubt. Check in on the box score. Day Reeves up to 11 points, 5 of 9 shooting, but now 5 turnovers from the Rams' 2-guard Jack Whitbourne at 11 to match Reeves at the top of the scoring column. 5 of 8 from the field, but just 1 rebound. So some funkiness in the box score for them. Relying on, as you said, its lead transfer in Reeves and its lead Magpaio transfer in Whitbourne to lead the way, and they're going to lean on him here in a crucial stretch. Rams by just 1, 40-39, 10:48 to go in the game. Fordham will have the ball coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, Joe, and for a team like Fordham, Coach Magpaio in his first year, maybe a team not necessarily with March Madness aspirations or national championship aspirations, this sort of 10-minute span says a lot about your character, a lot about your identity as a team.
And how about that? A turnover off the break. J.Q. Roberts the other way with the score, and Davidson leads for the first time this half.
And Joe, just like that, almost immediately, Fordham doing about what was the worst-case scenario.
Belk Arena rises. Day Reeves to try and sit him back down. Rams down by 1, 10:30 to go. Reeves cuts inside, steps back, bounce pass outside. Jacobs, three-pointer, well short, air ball, rebound Roberts. Davidson the other way with some pace. Koval, right wing. Loops a pass over to Roberts, top of the key. Now Blooms on the left wing. Right side Roberts, left wide open by Whitbourne. He's not a shooter. Bounce pass, right corner Scovens.
It's the only guy to leave that open.
Scovens working on Whitbourne. Hop step inside, loses the ball into the hands of Reeves. Reeves a steal, Reeves a pirouette, draws a foul before he can put up a shot. The foul coming in transition to stop what should have been a sure two from Reeves off of the steal.
Scovens really not happy after that one. Agitated after maybe not getting a call he wanted on the offensive end. And on the other end, Day Reeves continuing to lead this team without any fear whatsoever, dribbling amongst the many white jerseys in the middle and drawing a very important foul.
Jacobs to inbound right in front of us. Near side in the half court. Chest pass into Day Reeves. Fordham needs a bucket in a bad way. Scoreless for its last 5 minutes.
The guy who
the Rams.
They always look to in these situations has the ball now.
Reeves deep on the right wing. Passes it left side Green. He's been quiet. Green. Chest pass inside Jacobs. Jacobs left side low block. Draws a blocking foul on Roberts. And the foul is starting to mount a little for Davidson. That's their 5th.
Yeah, Fordham not usually in the business of drawing fouls. They've done a good job tonight. And in general, Davidson playing sort of undisciplined on the defensive end. Fordham going to try to do a good job of taking advantage of that.
Rams trail by just 1. 9:40 to go. Reeves bounce pass inside. Whitbourne is rejected. Blooms the other way. Blooms 3-on-1 fast break. Loops a pass inside to Roberts. Kicks it outside Koval. Now Scovens top of the key. Squandered opportunity for Davidson. Roberts 3. Off back iron. Rebound Reeves out of bounds. They're going to keep it with Davidson. A great fight from Reeves, but no dice.
I just love Day Reeves on the much bigger Roberts, still trying to claw that one out of the grasp of him under the basket. This Fordham team fighting and clawing. They've definitely woken up over this last minute or two. It's been a gritty, really competitive affair so far in this recent last couple possessions.
Davidson still up 1, 41-40, 9:20 to go in regulation. Dominating on the offensive glass in a way we haven't seen all season. 14-5 for Davidson. Fordham usually wins that category by 10 plus. Blooms curling off a screen, misses top of the key 3. Much needed stop for Fordham.
That said, that was a major stop for the Rams. A stop and a score would just be huge.
Trying to end a 10-0 Davidson run. Fordham has not scored in 6 minutes. Whitbourne, left side, low block, backing down Scovens. Whitbourne spins to the cup, misses on the layup, gets his own rebound, poked out of bounds, last touch by Roberts, and Fordham will keep it.
I mean, a 6-minute scoreless streak, Joe. How many teams can go on a 6-minute scoreless streak and still be down 1? This Fordham team should be down a whole lot more, in the same way we talked about how they should be up a whole lot more earlier. Fordham in desperate need of an offensive score, more than they have all season.
Henry, right side baseline. Will lob a pass into Lesmond. He misjudges the jump, goes into the full court, Blooms the other way, wide open layup. From bad to ugly for Fordham, and Davidson up by 3.
You literally just took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say, from bad to worse, this Fordham team is having a bad stretch. It's now even a worse stretch than that.
43-40 Davidson, 8:30 to go. Henry trying to cob Fordham down. Right side, baseline, spinning and finishing for 2. Boy, did they need that. Breaks a 6.5-minute scoreless stretch.
Christian Henry says, calma, calma. The tide was getting a little too big for the Rams. That was massive.
Wildcats still by 1. Scovens goes up and is blocked by the rim. Gets his own miss. Kicks out to Koval. Koval cuts inside. 10-foot floater, no good. Good help defense from Jacobs. Rebound retrieved by Schulte. And Fordham the other way.
Fordham should be happy with the position they're in. Down 1 with the ball after all this.
Reeves, left wing, 3. Airballed it. Lesmond on the baseline rebound. He had stepped out on the end line before coming back in bounds, and it will be Davidson ball.
Really wanted to make more of that possession. Day Reeves got a good look. The look he airballed on wasn't a bad look at all. He was open, if not making that one, at least putting a better effort on it. Fordham needs to get more efficient and also just needs to get more abundant on the offensive end, whether that means more chances, whether that means more makes on those chances. This Fordham team can play as hard as they want on the defensive end, but if they're not going to score at all, it's going to be hard to win.
Well, it hasn't been pretty, but it's somehow just a 1-point game. 7:57 left to play. It's Davidson 43, Fordham 42. We step aside for just a moment. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
Return to Belk Arena. It's a 1-point game with just shy of 8 minutes left to play. Just how you drew it up, right, Chris Carrino? Joe Henry joined alongside him. And Chris, hard to make of the last few minutes for Fordham. A really ugly 6+ minute scoreless stretch
finally snapped by Chris Henry. A chance to add on more here, and boy, does Fordham need to get it going offensively.
Yeah, Joe, for fear of not being blunt, it's been a nightmare for the Rams. This last 5 or 6 minutes or so has just been about as bad as you could possibly think it could go for the Rams. The Rams creeping in on a double-digit lead at one point here in this second half, fully in the driver's seat. We knew a Davidson second half spurt would come. We didn't know when, and we didn't know how big. It happened a few minutes ago, around 6 minutes ago, and it was as big as you can imagine. This Fordham team went completely silent on the offensive end. They still stayed in this one, still stayed within one after not scoring for almost 6 minutes. And after that terrible sort of episode is over for the Rams, now we see how they respond. Still a lot of time left, around 8 minutes to go in this second half. This Fordham team only down one. A lot has been done. A lot of harm has been done, but not a lot truly is taken away from this Fordham team's performance if they can get this victory today. That's all that matters, is the victory.
Davidson with the ball out of the break, moving it left to right. Wildcats in their home whites, Fordham in its road maroons. Scovins, top of the key, kicks it right side, Fredrickson. Whistle off the ball, foul called, I believe, on Akira Jacobs, who had his hands on Scovins, who was cutting towards the basket.
Another way to keep that first half performance from the Rams memorable. It's not fouling here in this latter stages. You can't give this Wildcat team extra chances that they don't already have. Fordham limiting the chances for Davidson, giving them more. That would just be the point of insanity.
Left side baseline inbound from Blooms to Fredrickson. Wildcats by 1, 43-42, 7:40 to go in this one. Blooms, top of the key. 3-point sniper has been shut down so far today. Kicks it left side, Fredrickson. Driving the baseline on Lesmond. Has to kick it out to Blooms. Blooms covered well by Henry. Step back corner three is good. Roberts Blooms finally sees one go in.
You're kind of waiting to see when he was going to make his impact. Didn't think it'd be in such a spectacular way as that one was. That was absolutely fantastic.
Late shot clock, step back three as the Wildcats back up by 3. Henry, top of the key, step back, missed it on the iron. Rebound Davidson. Fredrickson the other way, bounce pass, entry to Roberts. Back out on the left wing, guarded by Lesmond. Fordham needs a stop here. Fredrickson, right wing, working on Price. Bounce pass inside, Roberts gives it up, Scovins. Left wing, one more pass to Joseph. Finds Blooms, another three. He hit another. Roberts Blooms has opened it up to a 6-point game.
Almost the same exact shot, Joe. We've talked all evening long. If Fordham can guard the three, they'll be in good shape. If they can't guard the three, if they give multiple chances, they're going to be in trouble.
Henry the other way. Pivoting in the lane, spinning inside, and finishing for 2. Chris Henry has calmed things down for Fordham on offense in the second half.
That's absolutely tough from Christian Henry.
Roberts inside, fouled by Jacobs on the entry pass. Jacobs in rotation on the help defense. And this Wildcats offense starting to click. Davidson by 4, 48-44, 6:11 to play. As Day-Day Reeves and Jack Whitbourne check back into the game for Fordham. Devin Brown back into the game for Davidson. Feels like a huge couple-minute stretch here.
Yeah, about as big as it's been so far in the last 3 games for the Rams. A disappointing last 2 efforts for the Rams. They can make up for all of that with a gritty victory here in North Carolina.
Brown will lob an inbound pass to Logan. Devin Brown gets it back left wing. Kicks out Logan. Right side Fredrickson. Wide open 3. Off front iron. Rebound Schulte. A break for Fordham.
I Fordham, I know we've said it 4 or 5 times so far this second half, they need a bucket here. Stops and scores. That's the name of the game, Joe.
They'll look to Reeves, top of the key, drives inside, pushes off a man, steps back, and hits the bunny. 2-point game, 48-46, 5:40 to go.
As calm and as composed as you like, Day Reeves, the backcourt of the Rams, powering them down the stretch.
Devin Brown with it, top of the key. Finds Bloom's left wing, the hot hand. Has hit 2 in a row for Davidson. Blooms trying to carve out some space on the left wing. Kicks it out to Scovins, top of the key. 10 seconds to work. Right side kicks to Logan. Back out to Scovins. Finds Bloom. Watch out. Blooms will pull the trigger. Missed this one. Back iron rebound Reeves.
Day Reeves jumping to the heavens to bring down that rebound.
Reeves up to 5 boards on the day. Second on the team for Fordham. Doing it all.
And it's a big group out there with Day Reeves now. Louis Lesmond, Jack Whitbourne, Arika Schulta, and Akira Jacobs.
Reeves cuts left, goes to the cup, finishes off the glass. We are tied.
The lineup I like to call Day and the trees. Day just going to work by himself. My goodness.
Day amongst the trees has us back even at 48. Scovins inside, draws the foul, and one.
Scovins, an animated guy all evening long. He was pumped up after that play, and rightfully so. The Fordham Rams kind of had a sense of belonging again in this second half, and Scovins taking it right away.
Scovins up to 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting. Back-to-back games with 5 or more field goals going into this one. He makes on the free throw. And just like that, Chris, Fordham with a counter run and Davidson with a counter of its own. Back up by 3, 51-48, 4:42 to go.
Felt like Fordham fully cemented themselves back in this game, and one on the other end. It can completely do all of that.
Fordham 3 of its last 4 from the field, looking for another here. Henry, left wing, right side screen Whitbourne. Bounce pass out to Reeves. Reeves on the right side, behind the back dribble, working on Blooms. Reeves goes to work, steps back. His 2 is good from the elbow. He sent Blooms to the floor.
I heard someone say behind me he's going to go downhill. Yeah, that's what the defender thought too. Put on the brakes and hit that one from the mid-range.
Devin Brown around his screen, working on Akira Jacobs for Davidson. Wildcats up by 1. Brown kicks out Scovins. Scovins bodies up Schulta. Another offensive foul.
Not an offensive foul. Oh, it is. The referee with confusing signals there. Not sure which way that goes. I believe that's going to go toward the Rams. No, it's an and one. I told you, Joe. It was a confusing call from the referee. I still don't really know what the call was.
Everyone's confused.
I believe it was an and one. The ref called it like it was a blocking foul and one, and then you said it was an offensive foul, and everyone else reacted like it was an offensive foul. So I just immediately was really confused. That was the play-by-play on me. And now we have the ball.
Chris Henry is standing for a baseline inbound where the referee was standing, but Josh Scovins is at the free throw line. Now Chris Henry goes, oh,
yes.
Davidson has it.
With his mouth open, almost in a cartoonish sense, Jack Whitbourne letting Christian Henry know on the baseline, hey, we're not inbounding this one.
That's how confused everybody is in this building, including the players. Scovins will go to the line to try and finish the and one. 53-50, Davidson on top. Scovins misses off back iron. Rebound retrieved by Whitbourne.
That was big. Not only the Rams getting that missed free throw, but getting the rebound on it. Now Day Reeves has time to operate. Starting lineup out there for the Rams.
Final 4 minutes from the Belk Arena. Reeves tripped up, foul called in the half court.
Day continuing to play hard and getting rewarded for it. It's been a trend with both guys in the backcourt, Henry and Reeves. They continue to play really hard on the offensive end, and they're rewarded with reach-in fouls. Davidson is continuing to get in foul trouble. We'll continue monitoring that and see how important that gets as we get closer to the end of this one. Davidson coach not happy with that call either.
Both teams into the bonus the rest of the way. Fordham will have 1-1 at the line from Day Reeves. Down by 3, 53-50. Wildcats over the Rams with 3:47 left to go. Don't go anywhere. Here's Hope Nolan with her final one-on-one scoreboard update.
On one scoreboard.
Are currently beating the Nets 60-38. Checking out some women's A10 basketball, SLU took down Fordham, George Mason beat Bonnies, VCU got the win over G-Dub, Dayton took down Duquesne, URI got the better of Davidson, and Loyola Chicago has the lead over LaSalle 55-51 with a little more than 3 minutes left. On the men's side, LaSalle got the win over Dayton 67-64, and Richmond is still leading URI 61-55. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Hope Nolan.
Thank you, Hope. Joe Henry, Chris Carrino back at the Belk Arena, where the energy has reached a fever pitch, 53-50. Davidson over 40, and what's been a wild one here in North Carolina. Chris, Fordham was up by 9, then down by 6, and now back to a one-possession game with a one-on-one inbound for Day Reeves. Hard to put this one into words so far.
Joe, it's been fun. That's all I can say. The last 5 or 6 minutes, maybe the last 8 or 9 minutes of the second half have been a really good time, a really highly competitive affair between two teams with, I think, similar resumes in this conference. The Fordham Rams struggling ebbs and flows throughout this conference play. Davidson with similar results, and now both teams find each other with a chance to get a really good win. For Davidson, it would be a comeback win, a team playing behind all game long, a really good second half spurt led to a really great second half stretch and a win. And for the Fordham Rams on the other side, they were really dominant for a large stretch of this game. They lost that dominance, completely lost the lead, and to regain that and still get the victory for both sides, Joe, this would be a big one.
Feels like the biggest 4 minutes of the season so far for Fordham, trailing by 3. See what you're made out of final 3:47 here in North Carolina. It will start with a 1-and-1 from Day Reeves drawing the foul and getting Fordham into the bonus. Both teams into the bonus the rest of the way. Should be a thrilling finish. Reeves up to 17 points to lead all Rams. His 20th straight 10-plus point game for Fordham. He's reached double digits in every single contest. The A-10's leading scorer now is 15-plus in 10 straight games, and a chance to add on here.
As I've said, Joe, as advertised, Day Reeves, when this Fordham team has their biggest wins or their biggest moments, he's usually right in the middle of it. And the Fordham Rams, in a place they usually aren't, the free throw line. They got to make the most of it.
Reeves hits on the front end. Off front iron, backboard, and in to earn a second. Just Fordham's second free throw of the entire game.
They don't shoot many. When you don't shoot many, each one more and more valuable.
Davidson has taken 11. Reeves about to take his third, the team's third, to make it a 1-point game. Reeves misses off front iron. Rebound Brown. Still a 2-point affair, 53-51 Davidson. Final 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Brown, top of the key. Working across the screen. Working on Whitbourne. Swiveling. In the middle of the floor, gives it up to Fredrickson. Fredrickson drives right side on Henry. Pivots, steps back, and hits on a fadeaway. Wildcats back up by 4, 55-51, 3:15 to go.
Joe, I'm sure you heard it before. Great offense beats great defense. That's what happened there.
Reeves trying to get one back, spinning on the baseline, carves out a lane, draws a foul, and will go to the line for 2.
An emphatic clap from Day Reeves after drawing that foul. I agree with him. That was another example of this Fordham backcourt continuing to be as productive as they can be on the offensive end, not just dribbling for a long time with no cause, not dribbling into nothing. Instead, trying to be purposeful with each move you make on the offensive end. Day Reeves and Christian Henry have done that. Day Reeves especially has just been fantastic. We've come to expect it more, Joe, from Day Reeves, but he has just been fantastic tonight.
And he sinks the first. Reeves up to 19 points on 8 of 13 shooting. And how many times have we seen this guy in the clutch take over a game? That's what he's going to need to do here if Fordham wants its second win of A-10 play.
Fordham's biggest win in the conference so far at St. Bonaventure. It was Day who got that one down the stretch. I would expect something similar here tonight if the Fordham Rams are going to win.
Reeves swishes the second. It's a 2-point game, 55-53. 3 minutes to go from North Carolina. Davidson with it up by 2. 2-3 zone look from Fordham. Ball into Scovins at the right elbow. Working on Whitbourne. Spinning to the cup and finishing the lay.
Whitbourne was not prepared for that spin move. He was almost in a delay defensively. Easy bucket.
Scovins up to 11. 57-53 Davidson. 2:40 to go. Reeves attacking the right side baseline, tied up by Blooms. Kick out, hits Kevin Smith on the bench. The assistant coach receives an errant pass, and the most crucial turnover of the day is turnover 18 for Fordham. That one emblematic of tonight.
And I don't blame him. Madede Reeves trying to do everything there. Has to slow it down. Needs to trust in his teammates that they're going to make a play.
Davidson by 4. Final 2.5 minutes. Scovins inside. Flip shot is good.
I mean, this guy could just do it however he wants. Scovins looked like a kid in his front yard in the driveway playing against a bunch of imaginary guys. Whatever kind of shot he's taking is going.
6-point game. 2:10 to go. Fordham needs a bucket in a bad way. It's Reeves on the left side. Dribble handoff Henry. Henry trying to go to work. Kicks it right side Schulte. Back to Henry. Henry with 10. Henry's got to go on the right wing. Sizing up Fredrickson. Cuts inside. Draws some contact. Dump off pass to Schulte. Finishes for 2.
That was just a beautiful dish. Thought Christian Henry might run out of time. Might even commit a turnover there. Instead, the pass of the day.
And it keeps Fordham alive. 59-55 Davidson. Devin Brown the other way, working the two-man game. Passes outside to Blooms. Blooms finds Roberts, right side corner, backing down Whitbourne. Roberts going to work. Roberts kicks it out, Blooms. A whistle and a timeout mid-play as Blooms was about to fire away on a 3. So with 10 seconds on the shot clock, Davidson will stop things for just a moment.
I was going to say, his coach did not want him taking that at all. Instead, they will have around 10 seconds on the shot clock to draw a play up. Fordham in a place where they can take this game. They can go out and grab it. They just need to be more assertive on the offensive end. It needs to be more of a united front. It really seems like a backcourt show on the offensive end. Christian Henry getting Rika Schulte involved on that last play. Would like to see more of that. And then just continuing to keep the defensive mindset they've had all night long. They've sort of gotten back to it now in the last 3-4 minutes or so, limiting those shot attempts, especially from the three-point line. That effort on the defensive end, Joe, it just changes everything.
88 seconds to play from Belk Arena. The Road Rams trying to do what they've done only one time so far this season. Win another A-10 contest. Down by 4. 59-55 Davidson in front with the ball. The shot clock is set to 10. And for Fordham, the road to a comeback win in what's been a chaotic second half starts with a stop in the half court.
And the Fordham Rams really need to be disciplined here, whether that's not committing fouls, whether that's not throwing turnovers. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of ways that Fordham can get in their own way now. They can't do any of those things. They need to fully put out one of their best minutes and a half of the season. They can put out one of their best minutes to 2 minutes. They'll be completely fine here.
90 seconds to decide this one. Far side inbound triggered from Fredrickson into Scovins, the hot hand. Flips it over to Blooms. Blooms fires a 3, misses off the rim. Rebound Jacobs.
The Rams with a prime opportunity now to cut down this lead to one possession.
Henry, top of the key, works inside on Fredrickson, all the way to the cup, draws a foul.
Really, really good take from Christian Henry. This Fordham team has a really strong mentality on the offensive end. They're not letting anything get taken for granted. They're taking up all the space that's given to them, and Christian Henry being as tenacious as you can be as a guard, trying to get inside, trying to find as much space as he can.
59-55. Chris Henry at the line. First of 2. Rims out.
Christian Henry has struggled all season long. Arguably Fordham's largest struggler at the line. That continues right now. This is the worst time for it. Christian needs to split these.
Just 54% from the line this season. Henry bricks the second. Rebound, fought for, retrieved, Scovins.
That's a hard-fought rebound from Davidson. They deserve it.
Empty trip from Henry and a backbreaker. Final minute from North Carolina. Fredrickson, left wing Scovins. Fordham needs a stop, down by 4, 59-55. Scovins swirls a pass right side Fredrickson. Back to Scovins. Scovins cutting inside on Schulte. Scovins spinning, fading, and hitting. Josh Scovins taking over. It may have earned Davidson its 4th win of conference play.
He's a native of where they play the ACC tournament, Greensboro, North Carolina. Josh Scovins looked like he could play in the ACC tournament right now. It has been the Josh Scovins show down the stretch. I'm even thinking in my head, Joe, Coach Magpio on the other sideline, thinking about the future. This guy might have one more year of eligibility. Might have to get this guy in maroon. He's been absolutely fantastic for Davidson. Joe, by far and away, the reason Davidson's in the lead right now. I'm not sure they'd even be winning the game right now without Scovins. With Scovins, they're up 6 with 48 seconds left.
61-55, final 48 seconds as Mike Magpio calls timeout. Fordham in desperation mode, trying to avoid a 1-6 start to 8-10 play. They'll have the ball out of the break. Chris, if you're Mike Magpio, who are you drawing a play up for here?
I think it's obvious. Day Reeves is the guy to go to, the guy when you've needed steadiness, when you've needed efficiency, when you've needed just a guy to not worry about. Day Reeves has been him. The backcourt's been fantastic tonight. Christian Henry has also been good. But, Joe, you have to think, when Christian Henry has the ball, he might get fouled, and when he might get fouled, that's disastrous. He's been so bad at the line. You don't want him at the line, and you also don't want him to turn over the ball. He's been doing both those things abundantly recently. Day Reeves doesn't do either of those things nearly as much. That's why Day Reeves would be my decision here.
Now, to be fair, Reeves up to 6 turnovers on the day, just 1 for Henry, but you mentioned the free throw shooting. Reeves, a guy you can trust at the line. Henry, not so much. Reeves will trigger the inbound. Fordham to go the full 94. Final 48.2 from Davidson.
If Fordham can somehow find a way back into this one, it would be miraculous.
Rams down by 6. Reeves into Jacobs, back to Reeves. Across the timeline, and Fordham's out and moving. Reeves cutting inside the right side. Reeves all the way to the cup, and not fouled, will finish for 2. It's a 4-point game.
Quick foul there, or quick bucket there from Day. If you're not going to get the 3, you want to get the 2 fast. They did that. And now it's going to be about defending, about not giving up scores. This is the last time you got to do it without a shot, without having to foul. There's a shot clock on the floor. So getting a stop here as integral as anything so far tonight.
Teams will huddle for a moment. Final 40.6 seconds. A 4-point game now off of the make from Reeves, who is up to 20 points on the day. 61-57 Davidson. Fordham will need a stop and a couple of scores here, and the clock is against them, Chris.
Fordham seeming to kind of just run out of time. That's the famous Michael Jordan quote, Joe. I never lost a game, I just ran out of time. That kind of feels like the experience for the Rams tonight. The Rams far and away the better team for large stretches of this game and have even sort of revitalized themselves here in this last couple of minutes, but with just how little time is left, it's going to be really hard for them to get back into this one. Just a 4-point game, though, Joe. A stop from Fordham getting the ball back, and I think me and you would be thinking a whole lot differently about their chances.
It's hard to articulate, but you said it. Feel like Fordham was the better team for most of this game, but time and time again, that's been the story, and yet Fordham is 1-5, teetering on 1-6. How do you explain that?
Josh Scovins, that's a big aspect of the situation. Josh Scovins on the offensive end has just brought scores. This Davidson team has needed scores. He's brought in those, and on the defensive end, he has been the leader of this wild mentality they've had defensively that's gotten them back into this game.
Davidson with it in the full court. Brown maneuvers the baseline, pass into Fredrickson. Brown gets it back. Brown across the timeline, intentionally fouled by Lesmont.
And you have the shot clock, but with such little time, you're going to try and still foul. It's not a one-possession game. It's a multiple-possession game. So you want to try and get misses at the free throw line. You're going to try and use your luck as best you can. It's now Devin Brown at the line for 2, the Ohio native.
Brown, the reigning Rookie of the Week in the Atlantic 10, was the Division I Player of the Year as a senior in high school, as you said, out of Ohio. No stranger to the big moments as he sinks his first. 5-point game, 62-57, 36.8 to go.
Coach Magpio in games a lot less close than this has still played the foul game all the way until the end. Coach Magpio not going to be the one to quit on this one.
Brown drains them both. 6-point game, 36.8 to go. Reeves to trigger an inbound in the full court. Davidson pressing. Do you go for 3 here?
I feel like you have to. If you're not going for 3 here, that almost feels like procrastination at a certain point.
Reeves, full head of steam at the top of the key. Flips it back to Jacobs. Thought about a 3. Now will host one up. No good. Off front iron. Rebound. Scovins out ahead to Fredrickson. Wide open. And with 23 seconds to go, Reeves will apply the intentional foul, and the Wildcats can feel it now.
You got to feel good if you're Davidson. Davidson, like Fordham, has had their ups and downs so far this season, but being able to come back down the stretch in the second half when Fordham was really dominating this one, that's a culture win if you're the Wildcats.
63-57, 22.7 left on the game clock. Another game, Chris, that just slips out of the hands of Fordham. We've seen it so much this season in conference play. Even in Fordham's lone win on the road against St. Bonaventure, they had a 13-point lead that they blew, a 6-point deficit that they came back from. In every other game, it feels like they've held a lead in the second half, with the exception of St. Louis and Duquesne, and yet have not been able to pull out wins.
Down the stretch, when Davidson shooting 6 of their last 7 from the field, and this Fordham team has continued to not be efficient on the offensive end. In the first half where they were very efficient, it's a lot of things on paper that you just look at and you're like, that's really how this happened. This Fordham team had a turnover problem at an earlier stage in this game that led to Davidson creeping back into this one, and when they crept back into this game, Fordham did no real good job of stopping them or limiting the damage at all, and Davidson kind of running over Fordham in this second half. It's been impressive from the Wildcats' perspective. It's really depleting and deflating from the Ram perspective, of course.
22.7 on the game clock. Fredrickson hits them both. 8-point game, 65-57. This one just about over.
And everyone here, the Davidson crowd coming to their feet. They're happy with the performance and the effort from their squad. They've been great all night, this crowd.
Ball into Green. Green on the right wing, looking for a shot. Green, corner, Lesmond drives inside. Back out Green. His three-pointer is good. 5-point game, 12 seconds to go. Fordham will need a steal or a foul, and really fast.
Really
Brown
fast.
on the inbound, finds Blooms. Fordham trapping, fouling, and Blooms will go to the line.
10 seconds, not as much taken off the clock there as I maybe had thought. And Fordham now with 5 seconds left, a missed free throw, 2 missed free throws, and they possibly have a chance to maybe do something here. It looks like it's over, Joe. If I had to be real.
Green's first points of the day on the 3. It will be his 12th straight game without reaching the 10-point plateau, a guy who has really, really struggled this season alongside a few other Rams. Into the game for shooting in crunch time as Blooms misses on his first. So the door maybe a millimeter ajar.
Me and you have been on it from a metaphor perspective. We're just saying the same ones. Yeah, the door, you hear a slight creak in the door being open as the second one goes in. Maybe that was the door closing. I'm not sure.
With a thud as it clicks into place. 10.1 to go, 66-60. Wildcats by 6. Fordham the ball, trying to go the full 94.
Reggie Miller's done crazier.
Henry into the half court. Henry, a running 3. He hits it. 3-point game, 4.5 to go. Ball into Scovins, fouled immediately by Green. 3.6 on the game clock. And this Belk Arena crowd, which is on its feet cheering, cannot leave quite yet.
I was just about to say, this crowd that was just giving this team a standing ovation, thinking they were going to dribble it out a few moments ago, now maybe has to think possibly that this game isn't over. Joe, door ain't closed. I'm sorry to say it. Of course, also, this for Christian Henry encroaching on the free throw line as Scovins gets the ball to shoot it. I'm not sure if that was mind games. If it was genius. But now Scovins will take the first free throw anyway. Kind of genius level stuff there from Christian Henry if he wasn't penalized for it. And Scovins made the inerrant shot. We'll see if he makes this one.
Scovins hits on the first.
If he didn't make that one, Joe. The credit I would have given Christian Henry would have been disgusting. It would have been Mr. Whammy levels of credit. My goodness.
Henry stepped into the lane as Scovins was attempting his first free throw, so they waved it off. Scovins hits his real first free throw. His second is good, too.
3 in a row there for
game.
Scovins.
68-63, 3.6 to go. Scovins just 2 points shy of a career high. He's got 19.
And yeah, he should be getting a standing ovation. As good of a performance versus Fordham we've seen all season long, and they needed it.
Jacobs to Green. Green will dribble it out, pull up from 3, clank it off the backboard. The buzzer will sound, and Davidson has win number 4 of the A-10 season, Fordham has lost number 6. This one as ugly as any.
You're right, Joe. And not ugly in the way of St. Louis. That one wasn't close. It felt the Rams were outmatched. But this one, a heartbreaking, deflating loss for the Rams. A game this evening where the Rams felt like they were the better team. As I said before, for large stretches as that second half went along, they slowly faltered. The momentum of Davidson started coming. And honestly, Joe, Fordham just couldn't stop it. This Davidson team, you got to give them credit. They did a really good job down the stretch of turning the tide. That was more of an effort on the defensive end. That was getting more efficient on the offensive end. Those two mixed together, it's a recipe for success. It's a recipe Fordham was using in the first half, and Davidson stole for the second half. Fordham couldn't recover, and Fordham showed some resiliency at the end, but Joe, ultimately, not enough.
Wildcats claw past the Rams 68-63 and come from behind fashion. They were down 9, they win by 5, and they advance to 4-2 in A-10 play. It's a 3-game losing streak for Fordham, down to 1-6 in conference play. And Chris, through 20 total games, feels like we're left with more questions than answers for this Fordham team.
You have to gain some confidence in the things you saw tonight. I do think it's unclear, as you said. It's as unclear as it was before, but you have to have some things you can go home to. That's Day-Day Reeves. Going home with that Day-Day Reeves performance has to feel at least kind of good. Even in a game where he didn't necessarily have his best first half, he still got more than enough, more than his, with 22 points, 9 for 14 from the field. Not only was he scoring and scoring a lot, but he was scoring at an efficient rate. Christian Henry slightly improved tonight. He was really bad in the last couple outings. He slightly improved that here today, whether that was efficiency on the offensive end. He shot the ball at a slightly efficient rate, and he did turn the ball over. Like we said, Joe, we want to get him limiting him doing that. But overall, the backcourt of the Rams powered them down the stretch. It was just the collective unit, whether that's the front court or just a lack of unity that should be there. It was everyone except the backcourt that let this Fordham team down tonight, and their effort in the second half on the defensive end, if that wouldn't have faltered and that would have stayed the same as the first half, it would be hard for me to believe that they would kind of get ran over in the way they did in the second half.
Reeves with 14 of Fordham's 33 second half points, but they weren't enough. 42 in the second half for Davidson to engineer its 4th win of conference play. 68-63, the final from North Carolina. The Rams fall to 1-6 in A-10 play. The Wildcats advance to 4-2. Fordham gets a bye this weekend. It will be 1 full week till the Rams are back in action January 28th at home versus LaSalle. We'll have that one live on 90.7 for you. Till then, for my partner Chris Carrino, I've been Joe Henry. Stay tuned. We're sending it north to New York for a full breakdown of today's game. Anthony Smith and Hope Nolan have your one-on-one post-game report.
The one-on-one post-game report.
And we welcome you back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one post-game report. Anthony Smith, joined by Hope Nolan, and the final score of tonight's game, 68-63. Davidson knocks off Fordham at home. Hope, this Fordham team, after a great first half performance, seemed like the wheels turned off heading into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, second half was definitely some tough watches, especially that, I think, 6-minute streak with no scoring on Fordham's end. Those first 20 minutes are so good, and in the next 20, we just kind of fall apart.
And we talk about it with this Fordham team, the ability to try and just play a complete game. And it's just, you're not going to get a win, especially in A-10, when you go scoreless for 6.5 minutes. We saw them get lucky enough to get a win in St. Bonaventure when they went scoreless for, I think it was around like 6 minutes, able to pull out a win there. But against a very talented David team, they're unable to do it today. And Fordham, despite the three-point percentage being up there, they only took 11 shots from beyond the arc compared to 23 from Davidson. But this Davidson offense really locked in here in this second half. I mean, what are some things that you saw from Davidson that maybe we didn't see as much from Fordham in the second half?
Yeah, I feel like it's not necessarily that Davidson turned it on much more than it was in the first half. It's just those 6 minutes were detrimental, and we can't be doing that for 6 minutes. That's so long. We weren't even down for that long, and it's not like Davidson was outscoring us that much in that time, but that's just not how you can win a basketball game.
And in those 6.5 minutes, it was like a 10-0 run for Davidson, which is not that much, but just considering the fact that Fordham did score 0 points, it seems like that 10 points is a lot. So maybe that Davidson offense wasn't really clicking throughout the whole game as much, but it was just more this Fordham team struggling on offense. Another thing they really struggled with this game was the turnovers, 18 compared to Davidson's 11. We talked about it the first half, need to clean up the turnovers, unable to do so here in the second half. And another thing with this Fordham team, when they go on these streaks of going scoreless or having low runs, we mentioned how Magpie maybe should be calling timeouts here in these dire situations. But, I mean, what do you think leads to Magpie not using those timeouts? Do you think maybe it could be overconfidence in his players the ability to get the scoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is good to have confidence in your players, and I like that he trusts that they know what to do and they can figure it out. But at a certain point, you have to make that executive decision and call a timeout and give them a second to kind of clean things up, because we've seen this happen way too many times where we fall apart in the second half. And I think he needs to kind of step in a little bit at moments like that and be like, all right, this is what we need to fix. This is what we need to clean up. We can still win this game.
Now moving on to some of the more individual performers here for Fordham. I mean, Day Reeves, another excellent game here. Double digits, going 22 points. Also had a lot of rebounds here today and was really the main scorer for this Fordham team. Behind him was Jack Whitborn with 11, but besides that, not really a bunch of scoring going around from this Fordham team. I mean, the Rika Schulte narrative kind of went quiet today in his game against Davidson, maybe a possible revenge game for him. Akira Jacobs, only 5 points. And then we talked about Christian Henry. I mean, only 9 points from him today. Had that late three that really was in garbage time. I mean, this Fordham team outscored 33-10 in bench points. This Davidson team, they were on the 11-man rotation. Really worked for them here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see Day Reeves. He got double the amount of points of anyone else on Fordham's team. But then looking at Davidson, almost everyone on their team put up some sort of point. And so, that's where they're beating us. If their bench can play so much better than ours, when we get worn down and when we get tired, that's where they're able to pick up those extra 5 points at the end.
And then just going down the road a little bit, this Fordham team, obviously more A-10 play coming up. They get a week break before they play their next game. I mean, what do you think Magpie has to fix for this Fordham team to try and just consistently get more wins in this conference?
I mean, I would love to know what they're doing right now and what have they been doing looking at all these games where they've lost it in the second half, being like, okay, we need to fix that. Maybe let's run some sprints. I don't know, we need to do something to play those 40 minutes. I don't know if it's an endurance issue or just a communication issue, but those second 20 minutes are not just as important. They're way more important than the first 20. And so I think just working on maybe let's play 60-minute practice games and then only the last 10 minutes will be the problem. I don't know. Something's got to give in that second half.
100% with this Fordham team. Got to have the ability to play 40 minutes in tough A-10 conference games. We've seen it throughout this entire season. I mean, I think also a thing that maybe they need to utilize is the bench and try and just get more players involved. Obviously, you want Day Reeves out there a lot. I mean, he scores 22 points today, but you got to be able to get other players involved. Give some of your starters a little bit of a breather. Try and see if those bench players can add some points for you. And that's going to do it here for the one-on-one post-game report for us from the Rose Hill Studios. Again, final score in North Carolina, Fordham 63, Davidson 68. Fordham takes a week break before they head back to the Bronx next Wednesday to host LaSalle University. We'll have you covered here on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports. But for now, special thanks to our broadcasters on the call today, Joe Henry and Chris Carrino. On highlights, Sam Giangrande, our engineer, Sophia Smith. On updates and alongside me for the halftime and post-game report, Hope Nolan. Behind the boards, our QB for tonight, Henry Wolf. And I am Anthony Smith. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director, and Fordham men's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.